Championships. Jeff Murphy to my right, Caleb Nimmers to my far right. I am Steve Foster, the man with the face for radio. And we're having a great time here at the Wells Fargo Arena. A lot of fun.
Hang on, you're fine. Just let me do this.
Bring that down a little bit.
Yep.
Talk to us about Kyvan Gadsden's match here. He gets a rematch with, I think, is it right? Am I right, Mr. Matt Welps with the Maryland?
Absolutely. So Pittsburgh, actually. So where we're at right now is for everyone. So first of all, we'd like to thank everyone who was listening on KXNO Radio and made the switch over to the Matt.com, the Matt.tv. Really appreciate you following us this morning. And so hopefully we got some new fans here in Central Iowa that are going to follow us on Takedown Radio every week now. But so here we are at the 2013 NCAA Wrestling Championships. We're in the medal round. And we are now looking at some heavyweight matches and 197-pound matches. The one that Steve alluded to is Kyvan Gadsden from Iowa State University out here.
Match number 597.
Yep, he's out here. He's wrestling against Matt Wilps from Pitt.
Came out in real special robe. Talk about that, Jeff Murphy, a little bit, what you saw.
Well, let me give you a score first, all right? So with 50 seconds left in the first period, Gadsden is up 2-1. Now, he did come out in a very special robe. Of course, for anyone out there that doesn't know, Kyvan Gadsden is the son of Willie Gadsden. Willie Gadsden, a two-time All-American for Iowa State back in the day, back in the 70s, and
JUCO national champ.
Yep.
Willie was.
Yep. So Willie was diagnosed a year ago with cancer, and unfortunately, Willie passed away just last week. Kyvan was, 2 weeks ago, Kyvan won the Big 12 championship, managed to get back to see his dad one more time, brought him his Big 12 medal.
Put it on his chest.
Yep. Said goodbye to his father, and his father passed away. So Kyvan's really been motivated this whole season, but now this tournament in particular. So he came out today. Iowa State used to wear robes. You know, everyone wears nice warm-ups today, but Iowa State used to wear robes that reminded you a lot of bathrobes.
Yeah.
And Kyvan came out for this round in a very nice-looking replica robe of the good old days like his father would have worn. And, you know, it said Kyvan on one arm and Willie
on the other. And Gadsden on the back with the Gadsden legacy. So, real special moment.
There it is.
Yeah,
it's on the big board right now.
It's on ESPNU as we speak on TV. So, but
just a real tribute to his father. And so again, Kyvan's done an outstanding job in this tournament. He came in seated 7th, I think it was, and wrestled extremely well. And obviously, if he's here this morning wrestling this medal round, he's an All-American, which is wonderful. And now wrestling for the opportunity to either go for 3rd or 4th if he wins, or 5th or 6th if he doesn't win.
His opponent, real tough opponent, Matt Welps from Pitt, has had a lot of success. He was an amazing match last night, guys, against Quentin Wright, the number 2 seed. That thing went on and on and on, and Quentin Wright squeaked that out, and with a 4-3-2 tiebreaker.
Yep.
Situation there. So Welps is a tough foe for Gadsden. Dom Bradley was victorious over Trice. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Correct. Now Galagayev, actually the number 3 seed, that was an exciting heavyweight match here yesterday. You know, between Galagayev and Nelson. And Nelson getting the takedown right there towards the end. But it's 0-0 here in his match between Thomasette.
Yep, Thomasette from Pittsburgh, and there's just beginning the second period on that one. Wilps. We're now in the second period, about a minute left in the second period between Wilps and Gadsden. Wilps did take the lead 3-2 over Gadsden. Wilps on top right now. So gathering riding time. He's got 48 seconds of riding time now.
Schiller and Meeks down here. Meeks wrestling for Oregon State Beaver for the Beavers, and Schiller for the Minnesota Gophers. Down here wrestling on, it's 4-0, I believe, in favor of Meeks for the Oregon State Beavers. And they got quite a contingency here. A lot of orange here. Thought it was originally the Oklahoma State Cowboys, but it's none other than the Oregon State Beavers down there wearing the orange.
So
that's
a lot of action going on right now. We're just in the final matches, the final 3 or 4 matches of this round to determine who's going to place. Oh, wow, big move. Taylor Meeks from Oregon, or Taylor Meeks, I'm sorry, Thomasette from Pittsburgh throws throws Galagayev to the mat. Looks like he's going to get maybe a near fall, but Galagayev reacts really quickly. But it's 3-0 in favor of Thomasette over Galagayev from Oklahoma State.
And after the review, 2 points does go up for Schiller from Minnesota. He's in on a shot now against Meeks. Got the legs of Meeks of Oregon State up in the air. Schiller doing a real good job. Boy, he raises that leg high, and good kick out there by Meeks.
Yep. So both of these matches, both the Schiller and Meeks match and the Galagayev and Thomasette match, both extremely important matches in the team score race. Both those teams vying right now for second. Probably not able to quite catch Penn State. Maybe there's an outside chance if everything would fall apart for Penn State and their 5 finalists, but certainly in a race for second place. And this particular match, or both these matches, are worth 3.5 points for the team race plus whatever bonus points you could score.
Now, so Galagayev is actually down 3-1 here now between him and Thomasette. Steve, I think that's kind of cool, actually, that Oklahoma State is wearing the traditional orange today.
Yeah,
good
they
for
are.
The crowd, good for the fans.
Yeah.
Third tier to be able to look down and who's the guy in the black singlet? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and when I mentioned
wearing their orange.
Yeah, when I mentioned the orange, I was referring to the fans down in the corner. I thought that was the Oklahoma State fans down there yesterday. I just looked over. Here's all this orange, and I thought, hey, that's the Oregon State Beavers is what that is. They aren't the only orange here. Yeah, and it kind of surprised me. I was down there watching mat number 1, but I'll tell you what, with Schiller right now, we watched them have a real tough match with Quentin Wright, Jeff Murphy, and he proved himself to me, I remember, at the Big Ten Championships.
Yep, absolutely.
Schiller's a tough kid. Meeks has a lot of success this year, too, including a win over Gadsden.
Well, let's go back to that Gadsden match since you mentioned it. Gadsden started the third period on top, and Wilps escaped from him, and then Wilps caught Gadsden in a counter move and took him to the mat. So Wilps now up 6-2 over Gadsden with about 50 seconds left. Wilps on top. They go out of bounds. They'll restart back at the center.
Stall warning against Meeks. Schiller takes a shot. Big sprawl situation here for Meeks, going with that crossface, coming around trying to cut the corner. And Meeks gets the 2 points off of Schiller's shot. So the Oregon State Beaver gets the takedown, escape by Schiller. 40 seconds go in the third period. Jeff Murphy?
We talked earlier in the show a little bit about some of the emotions that can take place this morning about some of these wrestlers who maybe lose in the semifinals last night, and do they come out a little flat, or how the seniors react when they know that they've got 2 more matches in their career and how they come out. But another one that I think happens too is some of the younger wrestlers who reach All-America status for the first time. So they win that All-American round match last night, and they're all excited, and that emotion and excitement carries over for the rest of the night. But then they go home and go to bed, and they come back this morning, and I've seen it happen numerous times where they just don't quite have that edge the next morning. They sort of, that elation of the fact that I've made All-America status, and especially when they've done it for the first time, some of the magic wears off the next morning. Reality sets in, and they don't wrestle quite as well as maybe they could have. So that's all a learning process, I think.
7-3 Meeks wins for Oregon State, and a lot of that is true, Jeff Murphy, because so much of it's the mental game.
Yep.
You got it. It's all about refocusing and staying focused. Gadsden gets out. Does he get the escape or not? Welps does a good job just collecting Gadsden's leg and not quite letting Ivan get out there, obviously. This is Welps, tough kid for Pitt.
Welps with 2 more.
Here working on a takedown. Galagayev, he would take the lead, and he does take him down almost to his back. He's going to get awarded the 2 with no time to go. So Galagayev advances in the consolation match.
Big time. Well, they're going to review this,
Wow.
I'd like to see him put him up on the big board so we can all see it.
Man, he's been in some fun matches. I mean, beginning of the tournament, he was like, okay, you want to tie up with me? Good luck with that.
Yeah.
2 Pitt wrestlers right next to each other, real close to weight classes. You got to believe Thomasette and Welps work out together every day, and look at the success that's brought them.
Yep. Speaking of Wilps with a 9-3 victory over Kyvan Gadsden from Iowa State. So Wilps will be in the 3rd place match, and Gadsden will be in the 5th place match.
Okay. And his opponent will be Schiller, I believe, from Minnesota. I don't know if they've wrestled this year.
I do not believe they have.
Gatson had wrestled both Meeks and Welps previously. I think that was his only 2 losses, actually. Was Meeks taken for the 3rd place match at the Midlands, and he lost 5 seconds ago to Welps in the Midlands as well.
Yeah, they got a little mess up in my book here. So they got him with 4 people who beat him, but only 2 losses. So
2 losses. He did lose to Rochalt in this effort. He had defeated Rochalt earlier in the season a couple of times. So there are a lot of rematches going on in these tournaments. So we'll set the stage here, and they're doing the review here between Thomasette, Galagayoff for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I'm sure the Cowboys would love to get some more team points here.
It kind of looked like Galagayev was kind of in that, hangover, that consolation hangover.
All right, yeah, I had a tough match there with Tony Half-Nelson.
Looks like this call will stand. So Galagayev going to the 3rd place match, 4-3 over Zach Thomasette from Pittsburgh. Some in the crowd don't think it's great, but it was a nice throw. So here we are, fellas. We're going to get started here just really shortly.
Restart on our weight classes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have the 3rd place match, the 1st place match, and the 3rd place match, the 5th place match, and the 7th place match at each weight class. And so we'll get that all started here just in a minute. I'm not sure quite. I guess we'll have to see who's out on the mat first to understand who's wrestling where.
I think they're going to take a little TV timeout. So we got...
I see Thorne down on the far end, so he must be, that must be the 7th place.
And this is Sprinkle Garnett.
That's usually how they do it.
Garrett
in the middle
and McCormick.
They'll have the 3rd place, and then, the outer 2.
Or Garrett Waters.
Yeah, so 7th is clear down there. This is 3rd, this is 5th.
Well, I think they did that for us here, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Keep the higher placements closer to us, huh, guys?
Well, that'd be the 1st.
Yeah.
So
boy,
we're taking a little time out here because of a TV timeout. So we'll be back to wrestling in a minute. We're not going to go anywhere. We're going to be right here because, hey, we like to talk.
Yeah, we do.
You know what, guys? I'd like to kind of pay attention to the seniors that this is going to be their last match.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm with you.
I mean, a lot of these guys are, win or lose. I mean, this is it for them. I mean, not everybody goes on and wrestles internationally. I mean, some of these guys will stick around in the program, but I mean, honestly, this is pretty much it for a lot of these guys.
Yep, the last hurrah.
The emotional aspect of it really kind of comes into play right now. So really kind of cool and neat to see the connection between the coaches and their athletes here. I mean, it's really, you guys know about that. I mean, obviously wrestling's an emotional sport, but right now you kind of see that flavor come out.
Yep, absolutely.
So we're going to get started up, and we have, guys, we got Waters and Garrett, the freshman from Cornell out there in the middle.
They're in the 3rd place match. In the 5th place match, you've got Garnett from Virginia Tech and Sprinkle from North Dakota State. And going for 7th, you've got Cox from Wyoming and Thorne from Minnesota.
You did say it right for Sprinkle.
I absolutely did.
Thank you, Jeff Murphy. I appreciate that so much. Speaking of North Dakota State Bison, in on a shot is Mr. Sprinkle.
Steve, where's that college located?
That's up in North Dakota someplace.
Oh, yeah.
Grand Forks, North Dakota. No, that's wrong. Fargo, North Dakota.
Fargo, yes. Home of the Fargo Dome, by the way, the high school championships up there, too. And I know that's north of Texas, correct?
That's a bit north.
Okay, I know geography now.
They kind of like hockey up there.
Yeah.
Right, eh?
Hey?
But I'll tell you what, Sprinkle ended up on the wrestling team, didn't he? Because he just got the takedown guys over Garnett of Virginia Tech. So Sprinkle, we got to watch him at the Hilton Coliseum in the duel, didn't we there, Jeff? And we
Garnett
knew this game
with a nice little reversal.
Man was going to be good. Yes, he did, Caleb.
Oh, it not quite.
Boy, I tell you,
he was going to have that reversal, but
boy, he thought he had that dead on, didn't we? Look at down there, mat number 7. Boy, Minnesota picking up some takedown, and maybe he pins them. So the Golden Gophers get a pin. Wow, big pin there for Thorne.
Good for Thorne, man.
Over Cox of Wyoming.
Coming in, he had 10 losses on the year. He's 13-10 coming into this tournament. So he's done a really good job of peaking at the right time, and that's really big for Minnesota team-wise right there.
Yeah, David Thorne does an excellent job. David Thorne with the junior, so he'll be back next year.
Yes, he will. Thorne doing a good job for the Minnesota Gophers.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the team scores. Let's hear the top 5.
With 58 in fourth, it's Iowa 68. In third, Minnesota 93. In second, Oklahoma State 105.5. And in first place with 114.5 points, Penn State.
Give them to us if you could, Mr. Murphy.
Cornell. So in 5th place is Cornell with 58 points. In 4th place is is Iowa with 68 points. In 3rd place is Minnesota with 93 points. In 2nd is
Cowboys.
Oklahoma State Cowboys with 105.5, and in 1st place was Penn State University at 114.5. She read those through about as fast as I've ever heard her read them.
Yeah,
I got them up on the big board here too, so we can
keep them going around.
But
there,
114.5 to 105.5, so 9.5 point difference between Penn State and the Cowboys. So what that really means at this point in the game is obviously there's some Cowboys still alive here. In fact, the Cowboys have 7 people here in the, they have 5 people here in the consolation round. So there's 5 points plus whatever bonuses they could do. And they've got 2 in the championship tonight. So those will be worth 4 each and plus whatever bonuses. So 4 and 5 is 9 plus bonuses. If the Cowboys do everything right, they can catch Penn State at where they're at. Yep. But that means Penn State has to lose them all.
Yeah, they have to falter.
Is working and trying to turn here. Garnett from Virginia Tech, he's still up 2-0.
Boy, working those arms, isn't he, Caleb?
And something you said, Caleb, so Garnett and Sprinkle, both seniors this year. So there's 2 of your seniors that you talked about. Of course, Garrett's a freshman from Cornell. Waters a junior from Missouri. And we talked about Thorne being a junior, so he'll be back. And I believe Cox is a sophomore. So
Sprinkle is really working tough on top here.
Yeah, he's tough. He's got, look at the riding time there, Caleb. 2 minutes and 32 seconds of riding time. Yeah, so
really just riding dirty up there.
He's really tough, and 2-0 is the score with that takedown, and now Garnett is going to get on top. It'd be interesting to see if he's going to try to turn Sprinkle, release him, or eliminate some riding time. But with that first period being 3 minutes, it's going to be tough. He'd eat up his whole second period. So
yep. So this is by and large, a pretty young weight class, at least with everybody tonight. Obviously, it gets the top wrestlers. You're going to lose one in McDonough, obviously.
Sure.
Although he's not out here this morning.
Right.
But so he's a senior, Sprinkle a senior, Garnett a senior, and then everybody else coming back. So going to be a really tough weight class again, including our 2 finalists tonight. Delgado just a sophomore, and Megaludis just a sophomore. So, you know, Megaludis, Garrett, and Delgado going to duke it out here for a number of years yet to come.
Yeah, they will. Yep.
You know, Steve, that was a tough toss-up for me. I mean, Jeff had me pick 1, but I mean, that's 1A and 1B for me.
Hey, if I'd let you pick more than 1, Steve would have picked all 9.
I think I was 10 for 10, wasn't I, on my picks?
He was 10 for 10.
Those were my highlights.
Steve.
Yeah.
Steve doing
That's right. We would have ate up the whole last 3 minutes and we'd have been done.
Yeah. Good, thank you, Steve-O.
All right.
He would have went down all 9, and he would have said, well, that's going to be a really good match. Well, yep.
Shows I'm enthusiastic, doesn't it, guys? I love what I do, don't I? It's hard for me to single out stuff. It's all so great.
Hey, I will say we had a little Chad Kriz and Steve-O and I had a little bit of a opportunity we had a pick'em contest before the finals of the Big Ten tournament.
How'd Steve-O do?
Steve picked 10 for 10 in the championship round.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet against him.
In 2 out of 4 years, out of 30 people, I've won the media contest.
Garnett catches Waters on his back, and Garnett, did the ref give him points? Garrett, I'm sorry. Garrett got 2 out of it.
Wow, that's huge for Garrett.
All right, so yeah, huge. So Garrett takes a 2-0 lead over Alan Waters, the number 1 seed.
Yeah, because Waters likes to control matches and keep them close. So scoring points on Waters is huge. Caleb?
You know, guys, we haven't talked about this as much this year, but it's so important to score at the end of a period. You know, and
on the edge of the mat
for a freshman to do that. Yeah, right there on the edge of the mat, so key. You know, I mean, because you can't get those points back.
Yeah, exactly, Coach Caleb Nimmers. Coach Caleb. Those are good coaching advice there, buddy. I can tell you're out on the seat at the corner advising your athletes there as you coach back in the Boston area.
You know it, man.
It's huge, man. Good job, Caleb. We're real proud of you. Appreciate what you do for wrestling, buddy.
Love the sport, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Getting a little feisty out there in the third place match right now. I don't think Alan Waters wants to lose to Garrett.
No, he doesn't.
Garrett up 3-1. He got the escape at the beginning of the third period. It's a minute and 37 seconds left in that match.
Garrett never fails to impress me, though. I feel like he's getting better every time that I watch him in this tournament.
Yeah.
Got a good learning curve.
Yeah,
he's going to be a fun one to watch for the next 3 years.
Wrestling there for Rob Cole.
Yeah.
Damian Hahn. Doing a good job out there. Son of Wild Bill Cole, one of the all-time greats out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. Bill Cole never lost a college match. 3-time national champion.
You know, it's what's interesting. Again, I'm going to go back. I said it before, but top four finishers are all going to be coming back. 3 sophomores and a freshman. So I'll take that back. Waters is a junior, isn't he?
By the way, Rob's dad, Bill, wrestled for Iowa Teachers College. It was called then. It's the same institution as Northern Iowa, the University of Northern Iowa now, but called that back when they won their team title, and Bill Smith and Bill Cole and others won their team title, won their individual titles for them back in the. So it's kind of a family thing there with the Cole family.
You know, with Cornell though, it's kind of cool. Waters tries to throw it.
Yep.
And 2 for who?
Garrett.
2 up for Garrett.
Yep.
Wow.
With Cornell, a lot of people kind of think that it's a recruiting disadvantage to have to, be at, a school like that where the education is so key. But I think it's an advantage when you think about it.
The big picture.
These guys are going, hey, how would you like to wrestle for me? Not have to pay as much.
Yeah.
And get an unbelievable education all at the same time. These guys are graduating and going to med school. Okay,
yep.
Like these guys are going to be working on your knee here when you're 63 years old. So you better be nice to them, Steve.
Yeah, and the Harvard kids, they walk right out and start working on the stock exchange or something and become almost instant millionaires. So those Ivy League schools, they're top. You get an education from there. I was just talking to Colby Knight the other day. I know Colby real well from Urbandale, state champ, and he's so glad he's going to Harvard. He was pretty tickled.
Why not?
Yep. That'd work for me.
Yeah.
I've been to Harvard before. Did I tell you I actually graduated from Harvard too?
Yeah, you've graduated from every college in the nation. You ever notice that?
I took a week-long short course at Harvard as well. So I'm a graduate of Columbia and a graduate of Harvard. How about that? How many people can say that?
Yeah, and you got your certificate to prove it.
And I've got 2 degrees from Iowa State, so I'm a multiple, and those are actual real a master's and a bachelor's degree. So those are actual more than a week-long deal. But
you got so many degrees, that's what makes you so hot, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's exactly right.
All those degrees, 6-2, guys. Sprinkle wins it for North Dakota State Bison.
All right, so great way to go out as a senior, Trent Sprinkle, 5th place finish. Trent Sprinkle, who will go down in history, at least in lore here in the state of Iowa, as the
McDonough.
Man who denied Matt McDonough from making the All-America round as a senior.
Up to his feet is Waters, but Garrett does a real good job of just throwing Waters right back down to the mat. So, Waters has had a real good season this year too, though, for Missouri, and McCormick too. And I always like to bring up Sammy Henson. What a coach he is. Like to have him in the corner, huh?
Oh my goodness!
Like to have Sammy Henson in the corner.
So Waters throws Garrett not only into the first row, into about the 3rd row, because it knocks the scorer's table over, knocks a bunch of people over at the scorer's table. That was a bit much.
The corner,
losing track of where you're at could be the situation, not sure.
Yeah, no.
A lot of momentum going there.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt most of the time, but I'll tell you what, you could tell Waters has been frustrated. When he got the edge, there was the extra heave and shove. And
it's going to cost him a point, either an individual or maybe a team point.
And I can't blame the Cornell corner for being upset about that.
They got warned just now.
Yeah, they did. But you know what? I can't blame them for being upset.
Yeah, sportsmanship right now is pretty key. obviously these guys don't want to lose their last match of the season. But, I mean, keep a cool head out there.
Kind of drove in, hit the table, knocked one of the officials, the table officials over. So big win here by Garrett. Is that right? The freshman?
Yep. Garrett with a 5-1 win. And so the freshman finishes 3rd in the country.
Big win by him. Waters takes 4th place for the Missouri Tigers.
Big Red.
Yeah, the Big Red out of Cornell. So congratulations to Rob Cole and company, doing a good job for Coach Rob Cole and Damian Hahn.
I always thought that, the big C on all these fans' chest was for Caleb out there. But
yeah, that was it.
Somebody
knew
broke
that.
it to me that they weren't cheering for me. But
I thought you brought your own heckler with you.
Yeah, I know.
We cheer for you, Caleb.
All those guys to come over here.
We cheer for you. You know that. Gonna go 133 pounds, guys.
We'll talk about this later today too, but when we look in the finals tonight, the finals the Big Ten has 12 of the 20 spots in the finals. And that sounds great until you recognize that Penn State has 5 of those. So Penn State kind of carrying the torch there, but 12 of the 20 spots. The Big 12 has 3 with 4 teams in the Big 12, 3 spots in the finals. Cornell with 1, Edinburgh with 1, Boise State with 1, Kent State with 1, and Lehigh with 1. So pretty well spread out around the rest of the country.
Yes, it is. Yep, we have Dordanes and Morrison, I believe, right down here on map 5 is for 5th and 6th, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
So you got Dordanes.
You were right over there. I'm not really sure how that ended, but Morrison was up 5-3 over Shop of Edinburgh. And
I thought so too, Caleb. I'm with you, my friend. And Shop got his hand raised, so.
Yeah, and he's out there wrestling for 3rd.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly how it finished. We were doing KXNO radio, so it's a little more intense then. I was kind of trying to keep track of a lot of stuff, and next thing I know, I'd look over and Shop's hands in the air.
Yeah.
So
Tyler Graff is in there working on a cradle. Now he's just going to elevate the leg and try to get 2, but. So Tyler Graff, coming off of an Olympic red shirt. He's a junior, right, guys?
I'm looking at that.
Yeah, he is. Because I thought he was a senior earlier, and Jeff corrected me. And
he's going to be one of those guys that
informed me.
Wrestled for a decade over here.
Yeah. It seems like he has been around a long time. I think he took a red shirt and an Olympic red shirt. Yeah. So that's when some of those guys end up with 6 years. Yeah. So you talk about getting the opportunity to get some degrees. They might be able to pick up as many as Jeff has.
Absolutely.
6 years in college.
That's right.
Or at least never leave with 1 degree.
You talk about guys coming back, and Tyler Graff, if he stays at 133, there's probably going to be some movement, with the top 2 seeds up there.
Yeah.
So, I can see Graff being a favorite coming into next year.
It's tough, he is. His problem is probably Ramos and Stieber come back too. So
that's what I mean is there could be some movement.
Correct.
But so let's look at this weight class. So you got, I wrote that down obviously wrong. You got Stieber, who's a sophomore, and Ramos, who's a junior. You got Graff, who's a junior, and Schaff, who's a sophomore. You've got Dardanes as a sophomore, and Morrison as a junior from Oklahoma State. You got Brewer from Oklahoma, who's in the 7th place match as a freshman. Your only senior in this whole class is McCormick from Missouri. So you're going to have 7 of the top 8 wrestlers all back next season.
It's crazy, and Brewer and McCormick are wrestling for 7th place down on mat number 7.
Thanks for doing that, Jeff, because we kind of said that we're going to pay attention to some of the seniors, and we talked about Sprinkle there, coming out. He got 5th place, winning his last match ever.
Yep.
And, and Garrett actually, or Garnett, I'm sorry, from Virginia Tech.
Yep.
Lost that match. He's a senior there too. So,
yeah.
Honestly,
he had a good career for Virginia Tech. Garnett did over the years.
I thought he could win the title.
Garnett,
he was up there in my pool
had a nice Midlands.
Could do it.
Had a real nice Midlands championship for Garnett.
So let's talk for just a minute about Virginia Tech. Boy, Kevin Dresser's done a phenomenal job bringing that team to where they've been. Because, when Tom Brands left Virginia Tech and came back to Iowa, and a lot of those Iowa boys came back with him, and, we all know the story about that. But the cupboard was pretty empty out there, Virginia Tech, and Dresser stepped in. He did it the right way.
Yep.
We've talked to him a number of times. Just a good coach and a good man, and he's done a really fine job to bring Virginia Tech. They finished 11th in the tournament last year. This morning when we started, they were 10th. just right up there as one of the top teams in the country year in, year out now. So just a really great job of coaching there.
You know what you just reminded me of there, Jeff? I mean, you know what that sounded like? You could just kind of insert Iowa State into Virginia Tech right there.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
You know, really kind of the same scenario.
Situation with Penn State, Cal going there.
Yeah.
Somebody did this analogy, explained it to me this way. Foundations aren't always the most beautiful part of a building or a house. But guess what's one of the most important parts? And so you don't see the foundation of these buildings, these programs with Dresser and Kevin Jackson at Iowa State. And so the foundation's getting built for something special.
Yep.
And in time, you see the building or the structure coming up, and that's when the glory comes, and that's when you see the beauty of it. And that's what Dresser did at Virginia Tech, and I believe that's what Kevin Jackson's doing at Iowa State Cyclones as well.
The problem is you know, where we live and the culture that we're in today, I mean, nobody really cares
instant
about
gratification.
You have to work hard to get where you want to be, but I think wrestling just epitomizes the hard work and the effort. And, you know, you got to build, you got to get better every day. And
we all three have been out on the mat, so we know it takes a tremendous amount of sacrifices. Senior leads down there, Nathan McCormick, one of the many McCormick brothers, actually. It's wrestled, won state titles out of Kansas, went over wrestled for Missouri. He's up 6-3 against Brewer of Oklahoma. Caleb, what else do you see?
Yeah, Coach Smith has done a really good job recruiting those guys over there. Yet 6-3, and we're kind of at a bad angle here, but he's kind of fighting off a shot attempt.
Graf, I think, did he pick up some back points there, or he got exposed, I think, by Shop. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, Wisconsin out there. You know, they're wearing that traditional white uniform.
Both of them.
So it makes it really tough.
Both. So I think Shop is green.
Yep.
He leads 3-2
my
there.
goodness, all the way down on the far mat. In the 7th place match.
Is it Brewer? Has McCormick in trouble in a cradle.
Yep, I believe so.
Big cradle there by Brewer of Oklahoma Sooners.
Yep.
Up on his feet is Michael Leitner, one of the all-time great 33-pounders back in the day.
All right,
Oklahoma.
So that's 6-5 now with the second period winding down, but Brewer's going to get 3 more points out of the deal here.
Between Dardanes and Morrison from Oklahoma State, we're all tied up 2-2, a minute just 10 seconds to go here in the second period. 46 seconds of riding time in favor of Dardanes of Minnesota.
And Graf and Shop out here in the center mat. They're just starting the third period. Graf from Wisconsin up 4-3 over Shop from Edinburgh.
So he took the lead. He was trailing last I saw there, Jeff, 3-2. So
yep.
And scored some points.
And in the Brewer-McCormick match, Brewer got the back points, and then time ran out in the period. And so Brewer took a
10-7.
Took a 10. Yeah, it was an 8-6 lead, and then McCormick escaped just at the beginning of the third period, and Brewer took him back down, so it's 10-7 now.
Those McCormick brothers from Missouri, they're scoring machines. They've been fun to watch their careers over the years. And
now Oklahoma wearing the white today, so once again.
Yeah, another confusing.
3 out of 6 wrestlers right now wearing white.
Yeah.
So that must be the glory color.
We were talking about getting new singlets for a high school program that I was working with, and
not going to go with white.
Do anything except for white. You know, our big guys don't look good.
Yeah, the heavyweights.
Probably not
makes
a good
it tough.
plan.
Not a good color.
No.
Yep.
Especially if the Pillsbury Doughboy type.
All right, so we're going to have a review here on mat number 5. That's your your 5th place match, and let's see. Right now, Morrison up 4-3 over Dardanes. Don't know what happened on the far.
Yeah,
Cody Brewer did something.
Tarmac there. It's hard to see down on the far mat, but Mark Cody's on his feet. Michael Leitner. See Smith sitting down and Sammy Henson. So
yep, score's 12-10 in favor of Brewer from Oklahoma. There's a minute and 6 seconds of riding time for McCormick, and there's 48 seconds left in the match. Time running down.
Kraft still leads Shop 4-3. Shop wrestling for Edinburgh. Tyler Graff for Wisconsin Badgers.
Yep, something's got to happen quick there because there's only 20 seconds left in that match.
On a shot is Graff, so best defense is offense. Good whizzer there by Shop. Graff trying to bring nice kick out there.
Yep.
Just a high kick, spin around move there by Shop.
Yep. Not enough time, though.
2 seconds. All right, Jeff Murphy, you said it. Tyler Graff, it takes third place for the Wisconsin Badgers. So Wisconsin and Coach Barry Davis picking up some more points.
Time rattling down with Brewer riding out McCormick. 4 seconds left in that match. Looks like Cody Brewer is going to be your 7th place winner here at the tournament.
25 total points.
Yep. So Nate McCormick's going to finish with an 8th place as a senior.
Gets an All-American status for the Missouri Tigers. I remember when Missouri Tigers didn't get many All-Americans back in the day.
So we got things sorted out here on mat number 5, and it's now a 4-4 score with 54 seconds left of that match. Dardanes from Minnesota and Morrison all tied up.
48 seconds ago, third period.
Morrison
only 6 seconds.
Shot though, man.
Boy.
Nice little shot. Good whizzer though by Dardanes.
Oh,
and now he's
he
gonna
covers
give up
for 2.
So 2 for Morrison, which is really big if Oklahoma State wants to have any hopes at all of trying to overtake the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Eric Guerrero, I think he could just go out there and wrestle right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Esposito up on their feet and wrestling.
Esposito, you know, what I'll always remember with him is he always would do that bull march, you know, out there. He'd stomp his feet back and forth before he'd go out there. It was a little intimidating.
He's a tough kid. Esposito's a real good wrestler for the Oklahoma State down.
Fun to watch, man.
There, 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
Big win for the Cowboys.
All right.
Morrison wins for Oklahoma State, so the Cowboys in 2nd place for the team race, picking up some more points.
You know who Morrison kind of looks like? Who's also an Oklahoma State Cowboy? Coleman Scott.
Well, yeah, he does.
He does. There is a resemblance. Yeah.
What?
You're good with faces.
There's a lot of those guys.
There is a resemblance.
A lot of those other guys.
Yeah. Well, they're all wearing singlets.
Well,
you ever notice that part?
Orange. That's part of it too. Okay, maybe not.
All right, guys.
So let's talk about who's going to wrestle this next go-round.
Oh, your favorite name to say in third place.
That's right. So in mat,
Kishineum.
I wish the board had the mat numbers as we're seeing here. So yeah, Kishineum. You know, we used to think that was such a big deal, and it's
kind of whooped it, haven't we?
Just an easy name, Kishineum.
Like Musarev, Garakmana. If you get some of those down, you actually.
Yeah, Steve's getting cocky over there.
Yeah, he is. So Kishineum and Stieber out there wrestling each other, and that's for the 3rd place match. For 5th place match, we've got Henderson from North Carolina, and we've got Nevinger from Cornell. And
Stieber in quick on a takedown.
7th place match is Niebert from Virginia Tech and Dardanes from Minnesota, the other one of the Dardanes brothers.
Yes, a lot of brother connections in these sports. Jeff Murphy had brothers that wrestled.
Yep, absolutely. Nick Dardanes, this is the heavier of the 2 boys.
Nick. And Neeland is his Virginia Tech Hokie, another Hokie out here for Kevin Dresser. And giving the team points here.
All right, so let me do some homework here, and then I'll...
Oh, big scramble situation here between Nevinger and Henderson.
So
Henderson trying to come out the back door here a little bit.
They're wearing that gray again.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, for so many years they were blue. They were kind of that powder sky blue, and it's very confusing. I'd like to know if their team colors changed. J. Carl Guyman once mentioned to me, or we've been talking, he's been staying with me, he said, what's confusing when they changed the singlets, and there's no resemblance whatsoever to their official trademark team colors, so that makes it even more confusing.
Putting like a blue into there.
Yeah, they started throwing a blue in there instead of the cardinal and gold. Yeah. Kind of confuses it.
Stick with what's good, you know.
Yeah. It has made it a little trickier. That can't be a North Carolina guy. He's wearing gray. So it's been a little trickier here, but Henderson nonetheless is doing a good job for North Carolina.
It's 4-2 here between Stieber and Kishineum.
Kishineum, like you injured your knee.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what the announcer guy
PA guy does. So.
I agree with you, but I'd like to ask him.
Yeah, and you know what? It'll probably be Kishineum. I've asked enough wrestlers to find out that PA and coaches usually don't know. So
he'd probably just say that his coaches just tell him a 4-letter word and get him to come over.
Yeah. I tell you, for years, the national champion for Iowa State was called Zach Roberson. At the end, I asked his mom, Mel, she said, actually, it's Zach Roberson. It really is pronounced Roberson, but everybody called him Roby, so everybody just called him Roberson.
That's the funny thing. So, is, okay, look, if you call me Khalib, I'm going to correct you.
Instead of Caleb,
so I don't understand how
I thought it was Khalib at first. Originally, I thought it was Khalib, so my bad.
You know what I'm saying, though? I don't really understand how somebody allows you to call you the wrong name.
Oh, I do.
You're just like, okay, you just keep calling me that name.
Grow up with 5 brothers, you get called all kinds of names. Not just bad names, but your brothers' names are repeatedly, and after a while, you just give up.
And as the parents get older, it gets worse.
Yeah. Well, what I used to do is, just look at them all, family, friends and stuff, and say, you just call me Murph. All right, that'll just work out. Murph, we'll all answer to that name and be happy about it.
Well, I've got 6 of them in my corners.
Do you? All right, so you understand.
Us, so I know what's going on with
Kishaneum Trails, guys. Look at Stiebert. Really good job here, jumping out in the lead here, 6-2. Stiebert starts on bottom, Kishaneum on top. Starting the second period. 44 seconds of riding time here for Hunter Stieber, too.
Yeah, and we talk about a mindset coming back out here, for a #1 seed. Good job by Tom Ryan, kind of mentally preparing these guys.
Sure. Yeah, it's all about refocusing.
Yeah.
Well, and so in your 5th place match, at the end of the first period, you've got Nevinger from Cornell up 5-0 over Henderson from North Carolina. And in your 7th place match, you've got a 2-2 tie as we wind down the first period between Dardanes and Niebert. Now, that's the action stopped with 35 seconds left as they're fixing a headgear, it looks like. Or maybe, nope, they're reviewing something. So, again, the review comes into action. We talked about weight classes being deep with returners. Well, all 8 of these all 8 of these wrestlers who are All-Americans will come back next year.
That's impressive.
Port's a sophomore, Maple's a junior. They're in the finals tonight. Kishaneum's a freshman, Stieber's a sophomore. They're wrestling for 3rd. Wrestling for 5th, Henderson's a sophomore, Nevinger's a sophomore, and Niebert's a junior, and Dardanes is a sophomore. So a lot of underclassmen in this class.
Yeah, it is. Right now, Dardanes and Niebert all tied up down there. 35 seconds to go in the first period. 27 seconds of riding time. I believe that is for Niebert. Is that right? For Virginia Tech. Up on his feet is Dardanes, Nick Dardanes.
Stieber
heavier of the 2 brothers.
Stieber putting the fever on.
Yeah, putting the Hunter Stieber on.
So Stieber and Stieber, the 2 Stieber brothers are both sophomores from
since one redshirted, one didn't.
Yeah.
So, I think they're showing his brother up on the screen there.
So we got Nevinger out there on the mat, and who's over in his corner right now? I'm having a hard time seeing that far.
Yeah, that is.
Because Rob Cole's sitting over here in the stands cheering for him. That's the reason I see that. I'm like, wait a minute, their coaches are all sitting over here in the stands. Who's out in the corner?
Yep, and right now the lead is in favor of Nevinger. Is that right? Big time, 7-0.
Yep.
Is the lead over the North Carolina Henderson. Yeah,
Nevinger's just pretty much dominated this match to this point. He's had him on his back a couple of times, and all right, so we're going to go into the 3rd period in that 5th place match, and Nevinger on the bottom.
And Dardanes down there's in the red. Does he have a minute and does he have the riding time, or is it going down? I'll have to figure that out. It's 2-2.
Niebert has a riding time. He's got 40 seconds of riding time.
So Dardane's trying to work on that riding time.
Yep. There's a minute and 39 seconds left in the 2nd period of that one.
He's going to cut him, though. So.
Yep. They're a little bit behind the other 2 matches.
Big Grammy roll there by Niebert, and then a takedown by Dardanes. Wow, Nick Dardanes, 141-pounder.
Good scramble there, man.
Nice scramble. You just kind of let Niebert continue through his Granby roll, and as he finished, he jumped on top, got the 2 points for a takedown.
Yep.
Smart wrestling there by Dardanes.
Yep. So I tell you what, this is a tough class because we got a Niebert and a Stieber and
Nevinger.
It's just the
Kishaneum, our all-time favorite name.
Got a lot of knees.
I've noticed nobody's even tried his first name this morning.
Hey, Unbak Gayar.
Undruk Bayar.
All right, I came
Undruk Bayar.
Yep, I came close.
Bayar. Kishaneum. So
we got a blood timeout down there in the 7th place match.
Love these names.
You know, if the ribbon board would just call a mat 3, 5, and 7 like the matches call them, it'd be a lot less confusing this morning.
Guys, I didn't do my Rosetta Stone this morning.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh, that's what the difference is.
Yeah.
Tough on top, 2 more for Nevinger. He now, or pardon me, Nevinger over Henderson of Cornell. So
Henderson did get a reversal, though.
Got a quick reversal, 2 points, so trying to keep it from being a major.
Yeah, but time running out, 20 seconds left in that match. Nevinger up 9-2, so.
Won't be a major, though, because riding time's not a factor, but a nice solid win for Cornell's Nevinger.
Yep. So Nevinger takes 5th place.
So big win there for Cornell, the Big Red.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, they've got 2 more. 2 guys win their matches here today with Garrett taking 3rd.
See their fans standing up in their red T-shirts and their big white C's on the front of them.
That's right. Nevinger thinks so highly of you. He's got a Caleb T-shirt or singlet on. How about that?
That's right.
Wow. All right. So Cornell, great to see him out there, and we're just final seconds now on our 3rd place match. And so the 3rd place finish goes to Hunter Stieber of Ohio State University with a 12-4 finish over Kishineum.
So Kishineum takes 4th place. And Adrakbayar's Kishineum, what year is he?
He's a freshman.
Good. Well, we're
gonna have that
confident will we be in 3 years?
For a long time.
Congratulations to Ohio State. We'll take that one down. We should get a little plaque just for that.
I'm telling you what, with the number of letters that has, I'm just proud that we're able to pronounce it.
I used to have to do Bode Ogunolewal.
You know, we should get those helmet stickers, you know, like how they do in football. So
yeah,
you kind of just maybe put
put
a helmet sticker up
put on your headphones.
Buckeye, or you know, you could throw a Buckeye on there, maybe put it on your headphones.
Param Zarenpour was an All-American heavyweight for Sacred Heart, and then Bode Ogunolewal did a good job for Harvard back in the day.
What was the Stanford kid that used to wrestle against?
Oh, you're setting me up. I can tell when you're setting me up for a good one. So
I always had tough with his name.
I know it. Right so now. You're good at.
Hey, Billy. Yeah. So Billy Baldwin here this morning. He's going to join us this evening for the finals. That's going to be just a great event. We're going to start about 6:30 or so tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still kind of finishing up there in that 7th place match between Niebert and Dardanes. So Dardanes is actually up 8-5 with 20 seconds to go. He's got a minute to a riding time over there too, Jeff.
Yeah, Dardane's going to score some more points.
Yeah.
Yep, for the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Gophers doing a good job.
Gophers doing a good job.
He's got Jason Ness over in his corner. I thought he'd be a good coach, good assistant coach.
Yep, absolutely. So Nick Dardanes takes the 7th place finish, so good for him. Good for him. So the Dardanes brothers, both doing very well this year with a 6th place finish and a 7th place finish, 2 All-Americans. So Minnesota's got a pretty good nucleus coming back next year.
Yeah. I mean, the assistant coaches did an awesome job there with basically not having a head coach for part of the season.
No.
You know, with Jay Robinson kind of going down. I mean, and trust me, he was probably in there as much as he could, but I mean, he basically didn't have a leg for a while.
Yeah, absolutely, for a long while.
Yeah.
So that was they did do a fine job. They've got a great nucleus coming back next year, and I'll tell you what, they're going to challenge for the title next year, I think.
You know, they're always up there, and that's kind of a tribute to what Jay Robinson's built over there with Minnesota.
Absolutely. So let's talk about who we've got out here now. We've got Dylan Ness, speaking of those Minnesota Golden Gophers. He's out here in the 3rd place match. He's wrestling against Steve Santos from Columbia. And in the 5th place match, we've got Drake Haudeschelt from Missouri. He came into the tournament unseeded, so he's wrestling for 5th, and he's going to face Scott Sakaguchi from Oregon State University.
Boy, Sakaguchi's been kind of a giant slayer over the years. He beat Jamal Parks last year. I remember that was huge. And he almost took down Frank the Tank, too. Yep. He had a one-point match with Frank Molinaro. I think that's about Frank the Tank's only regular decision, possibly the whole year there.
Yep. And in your seventh place match, you've got Ivan Lupinchanski from Purdue.
Mr. Excitement down there, Mr. Gatorol.
Versus Bruschetta from Virginia Tech. Okay. Versus Virginia Tech, Bruschetta. So that sets the stage for the wrestlers here at 149 pounds.
Okay, sounds good. Sakaguchi and Howdeshelt, right? Yeah, you were. Yep, sounds good.
And Sakaguchi, yep.
Sakaguchi, Howdeshelt wrestling. Real good tournament. We talked about him some, Jeff, over the days for Missouri. Coming here unseeded and doing what he's done so good. He's just had a good tournament, but Sakaguchi, by the way, he's in red, so he leads 3-2 with 1:41 to go in the first period. Sakaguchi with 28 seconds of riding time. And our third place match is Ness and Santos, correct?
Yep, Ness and Santos.
And Santos from good old Columbia. There's your sky blue colors, the Columbia.
Absolutely. So if we look at the wrestlers here, we've been talking about where they're at from a weight class standpoint, and this one is a very senior-laden class. Steve, you've got Jordan Oliver and Jason Chamberlain, both seniors, in the finals tonight. You've got Santos out here from Columbia wrestling for third, who's a senior. You've got Dylan Ness, who's a sophomore, in wrestling for third as well. You've got Howdeshelt, who's a sophomore. Sakaguchi's a junior. Lupinchanski's a senior, so you get to watch him one more time. You better watch close. And Bruschetta from Virginia Tech's a sophomore. So Dylan Ness, whatever he does here,
big scramble
whether
situation
he's a
here.
senior or whether he finishes third or fourth, probably going to come into next year in many polls as a #1 guy.
He's already been a finalist, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
Freshman, so
absolutely.
He's a good wrestler. His brother was a national champ for Minnesota not too many years ago.
And I'm telling you what, Ness is one of those guys that could be in any position, and you're never safe.
Yeah, you think you're in charge, and before you know it, you're in danger. So.
I've seen him 3 times this tournament laying flat on his back and come out of something, and every time we're going, hey, he should be getting back. The other guy should be getting back points.
Exactly. Yep.
So.
And I don't know, the points still are 2-2, and look at all the action that just took place. Is that unreal? That's amazing.
Well, and Santos has 49 seconds of riding time right now, and it's still 2-2.
Bruschetta leads Lupinchanski right now down there, 2-1 in favor of Bruschetta.
All right, so Oklahoma State gradually creeping closer. Penn State still has 114.5 points, and now Oklahoma State up to 106.5. So 8 points. 8 points between the two of them.
And maybe they could catch them before the final start, maybe. I don't know how that mathematically might work, because Penn State has nothing but finalists. Well, it's not a bad problem to have.
It could happen because, if they scored a lot of bonus points.
Yeah, right.
Because, I gotta find my page here. Because Oklahoma State had 5 guys, and we've seen one of them so far, right? Only one Oklahoma State wrestler thus far. And so with those, so they got 4 left, so that's 4 points plus whatever bonus points. So I guess if all 4 of them would pin their guy, potentially that could happen.
It's not impossible. Santos just gets a reversal and takes the lead 4-2. Santos does from Columbia, so he leads Ness right now.
Yep, and that riding time going back up for Santos, got 30 seconds of it. Let's talk about the other 2 matches really quick. Lupinchanski from Purdue up 4-3 over Bruschetta from Virginia Tech. That match has got 45 seconds left in the second period. That's the 5th place match. Down in the 7th place match, you've got Howdeshelt from Missouri up 4-3 over Sakaguchi from Oregon State. And again, that's about halfway through the second period.
1:30 to go down here between Missouri and Oregon State. Boy, look at this situation between Santos and Ness. Santos looked like he had Ness in trouble, but no back points.
No, Santos tried to crank Ness over for a takedown or turned him for back points. And I think Ness liked the position. He actually gained a better position out of it.
Yeah, he's setting him up right now, actually. I'm serious. That's how dangerous him and Jason or Welch are. You know, they just kind of like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you think you're in charge. Before you know it, it's like, whoa, man.
Well, Santos has a cradle
He's got
locked
a big
up.
cradle there, though.
But the question is,
inside cradle.
Yep, he's got his head in his side, and he's trying to turn him, but Ness is just pretty well
doing a good job posting that far arm out,
flat
kind of working his leverage there.
And that's the end of the period. So Santos not able to take advantage of that opportunity with the cradle, still up 4-2, but he does have 1 minute and 41 seconds of riding time at this point.
Yeah, that's a lot of riding time, Jeff Murphy.
What are you watching videos there of, Steve? I'm not sure that's...
Whatever Gary Abbott has, that's what's going on. Okay. So that's Gary Abbott's, Mr. Abbott's computer in on a shot is Santos. Ness with a whizzer situation. Santos gets a takedown for Columbia, so 6-2 now.
6-2.
It's interesting, too. I noticed the Columbia fans right above the Minnesota Gopher fans over there, so that might have a little fun. There might be some popcorn thrown before it's all over.
I'm going to get one of those big pretzels today, too.
You do that,
popcorn. Absolutely.
Mr. Pretzel, Jeff Murphy.
I might go out and get one right at the beginning of the evening session just so I get to have one.
Yeah, that sounds good. Sakaguchi starts on top, and he has retaken the lead, by the way, over Howdeshelt.
Yeah.
Howdeshelt up on his feet. Sakaguchi coming here. J. Carl Guyman, I think, is going to jump in for a moment. It's always good to tap into the brain source of Mr. Guyman.
Absolutely.
Helped us out many times over the years. I'll make sure his microphone's up. I think.
What's up, guys?
Mike said, hey, Mr. Guyman.
How are you this morning?
Good. Just enjoying the middle rounds. They're always good to watch, aren't they?
Absolutely. A lot of excitement and a lot of points being scored for the teams. And Jay, you've been to how many of these now?
Well, 42 overall, 41 straight. So
what happened? You had a glitch.
Well, I was in college and got to go to one in Ames. It was my very first one. I was covering for the student paper, and then after I graduated, went to the Marine Corps and served 3 years there, and then came back full-time at the newspaper business, and that's
long-time voice of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, so I know you're close to Stillwater. You get to watch a lot of the black and orange over the years, and you've seen a lot of successful wrestling, Jay.
See a lot of Oklahoma State and Oklahoma wrestling.
Yeah, the Sooners as well.
Well, you know, for 19 years now, I've done the Big 12 championships on Fox Sports.
On television.
So you get to do...
see, Jay has the face for TV.
Yeah, he does have the face for radio.
Such a handsome devil.
Yeah, look at the Santos Ness match.
All right, so
now can Ness get into a scramble and pull it out? You think
he's done it? He's gifted to that. But Santos, real solid base.
Now I was going to talk about the team race, but the real important thing is I never looked at my fantasy thing until this morning. Suddenly discovered I'm only a half a point out of first. Coming into the
one surprised me.
I need when the session is over to go find out how I stand and if I have any shot.
So you get it. You'll be able to pay for your gas on the way home.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I do have 3 finalists, and 2 of them I really like: Logan Stieber and Kendrick Maple.
Yeah.
Now Megaludis is my other one. I think he's got a little bit of an uphill battle.
Yeah, Delgado might have a little favorite.
Team race.
Yeah.
Shockingly, we actually did have a team race still coming into the morning, although you have to kind of stretch it a little. But I was sitting there going through possibilities for Minnesota and Oklahoma State because they both have so many. And Minnesota's taking some hits now. If they don't win here, they've got some real problems. But I sat there and looked at it, and I said, you know, if Oklahoma State would win its 4 consolation semifinal matches, this is all by regular decision.
Right, okay.
Win those 4, then win 3 of their 5 placing matches, win both of their finals, which is, you know, not out of the realm of possibility. If Penn State only won the final if they're favored in, Ruth, Oklahoma State would actually win by a half point.
Oh, really?
That's with no bonus for anybody.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma State lost one of those consolations.
Yeah, they did.
That cost you 3.5 points that you don't get.
That's tough. Yeah. So now you got to have several bonuses.
They need to get some bonuses. They did get one back. They had a major in that round.
Yep.
And, of course, they escaped by the skin of their teeth at heavyweight with the takedown with 1 second.
Yeah, Galagayev. Yeah, big win there for Galagayev. We do get to see Galagayev
and Bradley. It's just not in the finals. But
So while we were talking,
so Penn State, though, I think still, you know, I will say this, didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay.
I can see Penn State going 0 for 5 or 5 for 5 tonight, and it wouldn't
surprise me. It could go either way.
Or anywhere in between.
Either way.
There's no match where you say, oh, they'll win that one, or oh, they can't win that one.
Yeah. Exactly, yep. And Vermonster and Ruth have always had close matches.
They had an 11-9 match back with the Midlands, I believe.
Yeah, they've had some close ones.
So he's not a, I look for Ruth to win, but I mean, he's not a dead level cinch.
Yeah, exactly.
Personally, I'm picking Taylor, but Dake is a gamer.
Yeah. Jeff Murphy, would we see here? Santos did something special, didn't he, for Columbia?
Yep. Steve Santos from Columbia. He wound up winning the third-place match, so good for him over Dylan Ness. And let's see, Ivan Lupinchansky took still 7th. And I did not see how the other one's not finished yet.
So my buddy Lupinchansky, that Mr. Gator roll, huh?
Yep, he took
7th on top.
Should Minnesota, they have 3 wrestlers, I believe, left here, Jan, Sorley, and Schiller. Should 2 of those 3 lose, they're mathematically eliminated.
The Minnesota Golden Gophers are? Is that right?
It would put them down to, I think, 113.5 maximum, and Penn State has 114.5 right now. Now, we say all that assuming nobody gets penalized a team point.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Throwing a chair at the referee or something.
Probably not going to happen with Cal.
I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
Of course, a wrestler could
that's true, too.
Chuck the headgear, thump it down,
that's
something
still
like
points
that.
a point. So how does Shelton Sakaguchi, we're what, in a review, is that correct?
That's correct. Right now, Sakaguchi's up 6-5. Riding time, 43 seconds in favor of Hadeshelt.
Sakaguchi, the number 7 seed. Hadeshelt not seeded coming into this race.
He and Bonet, a couple of guys that have come through unseeded and placed. You always like to see a couple of those guys.
It's cool. It's neat for the program. Yeah, and I think, Jeff, you mentioned Bonet's a senior. Is that correct?
Yes, he is. So great way to finish his career. 14 seconds left in this match. Referee's coming out and
this
says,
is important.
So both wrestlers start on their feet with 14 seconds left.
Wow.
And Sakaguchi's best defense is offense. So, wow, Hadeshelt trying to cut the corner here, guys, from Missouri.
Yep, 5 seconds left. He's going to have to do it quick if he's going to get it done. Sakaguchi with the whizzer, and Hadeshelt turns him over, and no score.
Nothing. Wow, he knew what he had to do. It came so close.
Somebody was in real trouble there. I'm just not sure who.
Yeah. They still don't want to let go.
No, they were still wrestling.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's just do a scrimmage here. We'll do a free scrimmage for the fans, but Sakaguchi.
Sakaguchi for 5th.
Good tournament. Oregon State overall's had a nice tournament.
Yeah, they have.
The only, Hankey getting upset in a pin and getting knocked out of consolations really was the only downer I saw for them. And Mangrum.
Yep.
Those 2 guys didn't perform. Up until that point, last night, they were doing very well, I thought.
Yeah, they really have. They've scored a lot of points. Coach Jim Zaleski and Steiner doing a good job out there on the West Coast. We appreciate wrestling all across the nation.
We talked a little earlier, Jay, about Kevin Dresser and the job that he done out of Virginia Tech, but I got to tell you, Jimmy Zaleski's done just the same kind of job out at Oregon State. Two really good programs that are really very similar to one another in a lot of degrees.
Yeah, they are.
They're trying to finish off a great run going against number 6 Alex Geringer, so that'll be a good match, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Geringer, I think, is a freshman. Is that right?
Yes, he is.
And Bonet, Jeff, you mentioned is a senior. Is that correct?
That's correct.
If Deringer should win, it would be a heck of a tournament for him as a freshman. His only loss would be 3-2 and 2 tiebreakers to St. John.
Wow.
A senior, a veteran. Well, he's a junior.
Deringer's got a real bright future.
So he's a good kid. I think he'll do really well for them. Down the road.
For 7 and 8, we have Green, and I'm going to have to look and see who his opponent is.
Green and Fleming. Fleming from Clarion. Yep.
Okay.
And for 5th, you've got Jed Moore of Virginia versus Pena from Oregon State.
They both had real good matches. Pena is a good wrestler there for Oregon State.
I have a trivia question for you guys, and I don't know the answer to it.
Okay, that's not a good trivia question.
Well,
Get the internet out.
I'm looking for help, and I haven't had time to look it up. And just looking at teams. Right to his back.
Wow. Has Bonet in trouble.
Yep, big time. There's a fall.
Pin there for Deringer.
Now there's a big one in the team race.
Yeah, that helps Oklahoma State Cowboys big time. Bonet goes down to a fall.
In fact, he has scored 3 bonus points today, which almost gets back to 3.5 they lost when they didn't win that one consolation semi.
Yep.
But the trivia question is this, and it's something you have to do some research on. When was the last time, which year, where Iowa has been mathematically eliminated on Friday.
Yeah.
They were eliminated last night mathematically.
Yeah, that's
It's
not
been a
too
while.
often.
That's been a long time ago.
A long time ago.
It might go back into the 90s even. Because, you know, they finished 6th or 8th there.
Yeah, they did have that 1 year.
Finished 7th the 1 year, I think.
Yep. So it might be one of those years.
Probably have to go back.
They're almost always top 3.
Absolutely.
Plus winning a bunch of them.
Yep, Hawkeyes won 9 in a row. And what did Dane Gable win? 20 overall, or quite a few there?
15, I think.
15, and then they've won
they run off,
20
they ran
total,
off
maybe.
9 from 78 to 86. Then they had a 3-year absence. Then they ran off 3, 91 through 93. And then they ran off 6, 95 to 2000. And they ran off 3 more. And so it's been really remarkable to watch that.
Yeah, it has been.
And let's see, 7, 8, 9, they won 3. And so they've rarely ever been out of the hunt in the last 20 years at least.
Yep.
At least in the hunt.
So
they've been good.
End of the first period, James Green with a 6-2 lead over Fleming from Clarion. Green from Nebraska. And in your 5th place match, you've got... I got to make sure. I wish they had that ribbon board going the same way as me. Okay. In the 5th place match, you've got... Pena from Oregon State up 2-0 over Jed Moore. They've got the mats labeled 3, 5, and 7, but they've got the ribbon board labeled mat 1, 2, and 3, and they're not in the same order, and so it's just confusing to me.
Well, when I first looked at that this morning, I thought, why didn't they take those boxes off and put 1, 2, and 3 on there? And of course, what they're doing is 3rd place, 5th place, 7th place. But I thought those were mats 3, 5, and 7 from yesterday at first glance.
Yeah.
But you get fooled every year.
Yeah, absolutely. They keep us on our toes.
Well, anyway, it's been always an exciting weekend, and tonight's going to be big time. And you go back last night. If Galagayev doesn't slip and fall underneath Nelson, he's in the finals tonight, and that tightens it up even more. And frankly, they could wrestle all day, and Nelson would not be able to take him down unless something goofy like that happens.
Right.
But it is what it is. The way the lineup is tonight, it could always be that Brown for Penn State in the first final of the night at 174 might lock it up for Penn State by beating Perry. That could lock the thing up. I don't think Minnesota's. They don't think they have much of a shot because remember they only have one finalist.
Yep.
Well, Galagayev, it really wasn't Nelson taking Galagayev down. Galagayev took himself down.
Just flat slipped. Hey, that happens. Bad luck. If he'd have been smart like a lot of guys, he probably would have just stayed away the last 35 seconds. But he did. He got what he wanted. Nelson shot. Galagayev was going to counter him. He was slipping around to get the 2, and all of a sudden just slipped and fell right underneath.
Mentally, though, he did a good job of coming back, and I mean that was real close today. But I mean, he still came back, and he's alive here for 3rd.
Got a big matchup against Bradley, just not in the finals.
Yeah, exactly.
Point-wise, though, I mean, when you think about it, he can wrestle to his seed still. I mean, he's 3rd seed. I mean, he can still get 3rd place over here.
Well, I was telling these guys, I'd figured it out this morning, what I had told you earlier off the air, and the only hit they've taken is they lost 3.5 when Morrison did not win in the consolation semis, but Deringer has scored 3 bonus points. Yeah. They've almost made that up. So it's still a little bit of a team race, but I just can't figure out how many Penn State's going to win tonight. Like I say, they could win none of them or all of them, and it wouldn't be a big shock. Technically, they're only favored 1, but Megaludis is wrestling great. Taylor certainly could beat Dake, I believe. In fact, I'm kind of picking him. Brown could certainly win. He's technically an underdog, but he's wrestled better than Perry in this tournament. Yeah. So, right, you never know. He could be behind by 4.
I'd be pretty surprised if Ed Ruth lost. But
he's the one is their best shot, although they were 11-9 when they met last time. So there's not one match they have, to me, where you can say, oh, they can't win that one, or oh, they'll win that one for sure. So
absolutely,
it should be fun. And even when the team race ends, it's still fun.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to a couple people about that earlier today, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, I've never been to a tournament here where I fell asleep doing a broadcast, or I had to crawl up in the bleachers or anything like that. So,
well, one year in the Big 12 telecast I was doing on Fox, the producer was all disappointed because before we got to the finals, the team thing was easily locked up, and he was wanting at first not to mention it in the open. I said, no, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't ignore that. I said, but that's the great thing about a wrestling tournament. We got 10 individual champions to decide. That keeps the interest.
Yeah.
If it was a basketball game, one team's ahead by 20 with 30 seconds left, then there's no interest in the last 30 seconds. But here, the whole night is still interesting.
You're flipping over to synchronized swimming then.
Well,
we've got James Green.
I don't know if I've ever gotten that desperate, but I might have.
Yeah.
But James Green over here is up 13-2 here from Nebraska. So,
rolling along.
He's one of the exciting 157-pounders. I love watching him. You hate to make the comparison, but to be quite honest with you, he just looks so much like Burroughs with that freight train double, and
similar build.
Yeah.
By the way, same weight that Burroughs wrestled earlier. In fact, he wrestled 49, 57, and 65 in his career. I remember watching him as a freshman have a great match against Brett Metcalf.
I remember
at the national duels.
Yep, and what
was doing great until he ran out of gas.
Yeah. What Green looks like is he can grow into that 57. He doesn't look like a huge 57-pounder. And, that could be a weight class that he's at for a while.
Every year you see a lot of neat little things here. And we had a school have 2 All-Americans for the first time ever. That would be Citadel.
Yeah.
First time ever, 2 All-Americans. So, hey, I'll let you guys go. Have fun.
All right.
And tonight, just try not to get so excited that you knock over the table.
Absolutely. We don't want to do that.
After the finals are over, are you going to take your dad from Maryland back to the home?
Yeah, we're Yeah.
He was actually wondering if he could borrow his tie-dye pants over there.
Yeah, I thought he'd go out and party tonight with those.
I do have a question. Did you see the usher come down and talk to him earlier in the session?
No, really?
Like he was trying to get him to quit cheering or something, and the only thing I could figure, he had his little banner thing,
flag
hanging over the thing, but he never pointed to that or said anything about that. And of course, is it Richard Ficker or whatever his name is? He was ignoring him, said, no, I'm yelling for my team or whatever. And I thought, he's very annoying. He's kind of obnoxious in my opinion, but you have the right to cheer.
Absolutely. And the cheering he's doing, he's not cheering negatively to the other guys.
It's actually pretty funny, to be honest.
The only problem I have with it is about 80% of his cheering is to call attention to himself.
Absolutely.
Not to cheer the rest of us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But, hey, he's getting his money's worth for whatever he paid for his ticket.
And as long as he's sitting on that side of the arena, it's a great deal.
So James Green
behind us. That was
bowly. That got a little old.
James Green there with a victory here for Nebraska, so he's going to take 7th. So Cornhusker freshman comes through and
sophomore.
I'm sorry about that.
You guys take care. I'll run
Jay.
and get back to work.
All righty, take care. Yeah, sophomore. So this is a bit more of a senior-laden class. Well, so Jay Carl Guyman joining us this morning.
Yep.
Always good to have Jay on the broadcast. I mean, what a wealth of knowledge about wrestling and wrestling history and the Oklahoma programs and the Big 12 in particular.
Yeah. We're talking about a guy in Jay who's gone through tournaments and the Big 12s where he's corrected team scores.
Absolutely.
And, it's the mind of that guy is unreal, and we're lucky to have a guy like that. Who's around wrestling and loves it that much that he's able to use his mind in that way. So, kind of wrapping up 157 here, 8-5 here. Sakaguchi. No, I'm sorry. Pena.
Pena over Moore.
Pena, yep.
And you know what? Moore came out like a house of fire early, and then Pena just kept right on going.
Yep. So.
All right. So
good job for Oregon State, huh? So we're going to get on to 165.
165. So in the third place match, we're going to see. I guess they don't have her up on the board yet. In the third place match, we're going to see Peter Yates. Did I get that right? Peter Yates from Virginia Tech, and he's going to wrestle Tyler Caldwell from Oklahoma State. Yates came into the tournament, I think, seeded, hang on a second, let me get this, a 3rd seed, Caldwell a 4th seed, so wrestling very true to form there. And in 5th place, we're going to see Mike Moreno from Iowa State versus Conrad Poles from Illinois. Moreno unseeded coming into the tournament, Poles a 7th seed. And in wrestling for 7th place, we're going to see the 8th seed Nick Solser from Virginia versus Cody Yon from Minnesota. Yon, an 11 seed.
So 165 is a very fun weight class here, obviously. I mean, we talk about it a lot, but, you know, these guys, not as much notoriety for them. Nobody talks about the other wrestlers other than the top two as much as you know, what they deserve.
Yep.
So.
There's some good young wrestlers, though, in this class.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a blend between upperclassmen and younger wrestlers. So, Moreno's got a...
Moreno's in looking for a fall here almost.
I'm not sure who's got who at the end of the day. Actually, it's the initial score is going to Poles instead of Moreno. I think Moreno was on the underside of that whole thing.
I didn't think that anybody had control, to be quite honest.
I think Poles got the takedown 2-0 is I think what happened.
Yeah, but he never really had. Now he kind of does with his head out. But I mean, yeah, I'd give it to him now.
Yep.
But now he's got the leg in and putting the boots in over there. But
yeah, so if you look at this weight class, you've got Dake is obviously a senior, Taylor a junior. Yates is a senior and Caldwell's a junior. Moreno's a sophomore and Poles is a senior. Solzer's a sophomore and Jan's a senior. So 1, 2, 3, 4 seniors out of the top 8.
So Poles actually beat Moreno 5-2 earlier, so we kind of talked about that. But Moreno's...
Kevin Jackson is going to use one of his challenges to take a look at that. Caleb, you suggested that you didn't think there'd be points. I'm kind of with you on that whole thing. There was eventually, but he called him way early, so we'll have to see.
Well, you know, what's not fair about that is, okay, look, yeah, he did get the takedown after, but, you know, a wrestler can kind of, okay, look, he already gave him the 2, so now I'm going to reposition myself in order to get out and get my 1 and try to get an escape. So it's not, when they do this review, you can't take that into context over there. So, I mean, if they do say, look, he didn't have control, then it's 0-0, you know?
Yep.
I mean,
absolutely, yeah, because you're right. You know, once the referee's given the 2, you're going to adjust. You're not going to hang in that position and hang on any longer. You're going to adjust and try to work up, get up to your base, and get out of there.
Yeah. So.
And certainly you're going to get the 2. So that's a great point, Caleb.
We've got Travis Paulson and Kevin Jackson. Jackson on earlier when we were on KXNO just talking about, you know, his coaching staff and everything that they've done over there. Travis Paulson comes on, you know, full time now. So
yeah, I tell you what, that's made a huge difference there in the program. I mean, Travis did a great job of coaching a year ago as he was rehabbing off of the injury leading up to his shot at the world team or at the Olympic team trials last year, but still very focused on training even though he was injured. So you got to see a little bit of what Travis might be able to do, but then this year you got to see a lot of what Travis could do. And I'll tell you what, he's going to be an outstanding coach.
Yeah,
just an outstanding coach. You can just see it in the chance. I've had lots and lots of opportunities to talk to him this season. Well, for a lot of seasons, but. He's got just a real coaching mentality.
He's a really good teacher. Okay, that's what a lot of people, you know, don't understand about coaching is okay. Look, it's not like you're dictating stuff to people all the time. You know, you're actually making sure that these guys aren't bobblehead dolls nodding their head and saying, "Yes, yes, yes, I get it." Okay, no, do you really get it?
Yep.
Like, let's work with you until you actually understand what we're doing and get this concept, and then I'm going to drill it in you. You know, make sure that, and we're gonna, you know, do it 1,000 times before you're gonna be able to be an expert at what we're talking about.
So. Well, and Travis Paulson, obviously one of the Paulson twins, his twin brother Trent. Trent had a little more success at Iowa State. Trent was a national champion. Travis never quite made it to that step. But I tell you what, through all those years and with the association I had with the Iowa State program. And the wrestling club there, Travis was always the more coachable of the two. I mean, both great young men, but Travis was coachable, and you can see he's taken that same thought process into the coaching ranks.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I'm pretty close to Trent and Travis here, too, just as friends. And we actually graduated the same year. And, you know, both of them great guys. But it looks like Caldwell over here is trying to work on a fall, but he wasn't in bounds, but he did get 2.
Yep. So Caldwell up 3-0 now over Yates in the second period. He does have Yates on his back, but he's got him out of bounds on his back, so he's got to try to pull him back on the mat in some fashion.
I thought Coach Smith over there was going to get in there and help the ref out.
Yeah.
Hey, can I just count near fall for you? Would that be all right?
So they went off the mat. So with 23 seconds left in that second period, Caldwell up 3-0 over Yates.
Still doing the review over here.
It's a long review.
Kind of going back to what we were talking about there. I mean, Trent and Travis they're a good combo, and they're good guys, and they're Iowa State guys through and through, and so they bleed. You cut them open, they're going to bleed Cardinal and Gold. So they've been with the program, with Bobby, with Cale, into Kevin Jackson. So, I mean, that's 3 coaches right in there, and it doesn't matter, it seems like, who's been the head coach. These guys have molded their style and been cool with whatever.
Yep.
So.
Yep, 3 pretty good coaches too, huh?
Yeah. Great coaches.
So you've got, Trent and Travis both having international experience, both being on the world team for a year. That helps them a little bit in that regard too. And just you can see that because the strength of the Iowa State team is right there, 65, 74, 84, so 97. So those weight classes that those guys are working with. Even down to 57 with Logan Molina, you really saw him get a lot better this year too.
But exactly what I was talking to you about the other day is, that's great that those guys are able to do that. And obviously Jackson's going to be working a little bit more with the upper weights, but it's really key to get Nickerson in there in the program. And and you've kind of seen already, those lower weights improve, a lot. It's good to kind of get blood in there that didn't have really a Cyclone connection. So
yeah, I would agree, and I agree 100%. It was very good to get somebody new, and it's always good to bring in some new ideas from outside. You do things a little differently. What can I add? Kurt Backus said it really well. You asked him that question yesterday about what he's taken from all the coaches, and I've talked with him about that in the past, and he's taken a little bit from a whole lot of coaches and put it all together. That's another young man who's going to have a bright coaching career, Kurt Backus, because I've really seen him mature over the last several years. He was always such a happy-go-lucky guy, but he's really going to be a good coach.
That's exactly kind of what I was going to say. I mean, just by talking to him here this year, I mean, he's just matured. It's almost night and day. I mean, not that he was immature, but but see that he's growing up.
Absolutely. And the way he answers the questions, he's got a lot of poise, and he's going to be a good coach. So let's talk about, this is a really complicated, I think it's exactly what you said, Caleb. It's back to, this is a continuation, so you can't score these points if this never happens early, and I think they've looked at it, and they're debating that in this match right now. They do have, to their credit, 2 referees up looking at it right now, not just one. So that's good. Well, the other ref stands out in the center of the mat and kind of just looks good.
So it's kind of like saying football, you get a fumble and the defense returns it for a touchdown. Well, okay, so if you're going to review it and they didn't call it a fumble the first time, and if the guy actually says, okay, look, yes, it was a fumble, okay, well, that's not just the ball's going back to the other team, that's a touchdown. So, I mean, if one, then that.
Exactly. All right, so we've actually got action on the other mats, even though we've got inactivity down here. So Cody Yon and Nick Sulzer up 5-5 in sudden victory now, just getting started in the sudden victory overtime period. And Tyler Caldwell up 4-0 over Peter Yates. That match is 50 seconds left in the third period. Caldwell on top. Well, I'm not sure. No, Yates is on top. He's kind of got him in a headlock. But Caldwell on his base and trying to slide out the back. I think he's going to be able to slide. Well, we'll see. Yates gives it up and they stand up. Caldwell gets the 1. And Yon in on a single leg, trying to get both, and the referee calls it potentially dangerous, so they're going to start back up on their feet. Sulzer and Yon, 5-5, sudden victory, 28 seconds left. I'll tell you what, Moreno and Pulse are going to get tired of pacing out here, waiting for this challenge to get done being reviewed.
Pulse actually put his T-shirt back on.
Oh, we could take a chair down there, let Mike sit down and rest while he's... long debate over this. Lots of people standing around the table looking at it. So
back here between Caldwell and
that's the match. Tyler Caldwell with a 5-1 decision over Peter Yates. So Tyler Caldwell, third place winner.
So Caldwell wrestled really above his seat, actually. So he was number 4, and he took third. So that was a 3-4.
Yep.
You know, kind of cool. What I was going to mention, actually, with 133, you know, depending on who wins tonight, that went 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
So.
And Caldwell, 3-time All-American with 2 different schools.
Yep.
So 2 for Oklahoma and 1 for Oklahoma State now. Now we go into the 30-second ride-out periods down here between Jan and Sulzer, the tiebreakers, because nobody scored in that sudden victory match. Jan on top has Sulzer in a crab ride and just hanging on tough. He's going to ride him out the entire 30 seconds. So 30 seconds of riding time for Jan. So we're going to switch it around and see what Sulzer can do.
This is kind of what Steve would call the Boston Marathon of the consolations right here, going back and forth.
Sulzer says, I'm going to start us both up on our feet. He's not even going to try to ride him. He says, I'm going to go try to take him down.
Got Mike Evans over here getting ready to go out.
So Jan's up 6-5 right now. And Jan in on the takedown to make it 8-5. So that pretty much seals the deal.
Marino here trying to get a reversal.
So Marino, so the score is 4-2 after all the big review, with Pulse with 4 and Marino with 2, and now Marino gets an escape, so he's up. So Pulse is up 4-3, 59 seconds left.
I don't really understand. I mean, the score, the amount didn't change. So
yeah, I'm not sure either.
4-2 is the same thing as 2-0.
So Cody Jan finishes his career at Minnesota with the 7th place match.
Yeah.
Good job out of him. That's the last of the Jan brothers. We saw them for a lot of years as a staple part of Minnesota wrestling.
No more yawning.
Yeah, that's right.
No, they were good. You're right. They're a staple. They kind of, in essence, they're a lot like what Minnesota is as a program.
Yeah.
They're
well, they in my mind, they sort of bridged. They bridged that Minnesota program, because you go from the program back 7-8 years ago that was sort of on top of the world with their string of titles that they had there. Then Minnesota was always in the hunt, but kind of came down a little bit. Now they got that real young team in my mind that are on the rise.
Correct.
And the Jan brothers, they did a great job of helping to bridge that gap and keeping Minnesota in the hunt every year.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we come to the end of the first period. Score still 4-3 in favor of Pulse from Illinois. Marino's going to start on top to start the second period. Pulse has 36 seconds of riding time.
Marino's done a pretty good job on top, actually, here.
Yep. Marino picks him up and thumps him to the mat, but Pulse jumps right back up to his feet, and Marino takes him down again.
So he's working on that leg here, trying to keep him in. Now, it's tough to officiate something like that, and the Pulse does get the escape. What I mean by that is, okay, when he's on top, it's not like he's really trying to improve his position by grabbing the leg there and holding on, where when you're trying to get a takedown, obviously you're improving on your, what you're doing. So it's tough for an official when you're doing that. I mean, he doesn't want to just release him, but,
Well, Pulse did a really good job on that kick out. Too many times somebody tries to kick out and keep going the same direction, and they're dragging the guy with them. And Pulse kept going back and forth opposite directions, so you kind of had Marino out on the end of a whip.
Yeah.
And, eventually that torque was just enough that he was able to escape. Oh, Marino in on a takedown, but Pulse just shucks him up. Pulse tries his own little throw. Marino fights that off.
Side to side here, something that you practice a lot. A little whizzer, re-whizzer action. Now he's in a front headlock, and Marino's about ready to get thrown, but he does a really good job of hip control right there. He dropped his hips really well. He's about ready to get thrown, but that's why you practice that constantly. And Marino probably felt comfortable in that position, when you think about it. So would have been pretty surprised if he got thrown.
Yep.
So we're going to remain neutral, 5-3 here now.
Moreno looks a lot like a much smaller Mike Mann.
Wow, great double leg takedown here, but Poltz did a good job of reacting. Moreno just got right to his legs, but it was almost like he was surprised that he got in so easily, and he stopped for a little bit. So Poltz had a chance to whizzer, and he did. So we're going to go back to neutral. Yeah, he kind of does look like that.
Mike was a classmate of mine at Iowa State. He was a year older than I. He was an animal science major like I was, and I just see him in some of his mannerisms, and when he comes back to the middle, he just reminds me a lot of him.
We were talking to Mr. Bannock here, Ed Bannock, yesterday, and he talked a lot about Mann.
Oh, yeah. Those are some classic matchups.
Yeah.
Mike Mann had the biggest thighs I'd ever seen. I mean, they were tree trunks.
Big dude.
Yeah, that's so funny because I've gotten to know Ed Bannock over the years, and I consider him to be a good friend and just a wonderful gentleman. But the Ed Bannock I know today is so far removed from the Ed Bannock, the wrestler. Once upon a time, it's like two different people.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a chance to know him then, but he's such a nice guy now. It's almost like, is that the same one?
Yeah, exactly.
You have are you throwing your brother in there, or what's going on? But
yeah, just a wonderful gentleman.
Him and Lou, good guys, but so.
Yeah, it's so funny because when you're, so that would have been the time I was in school, when you're in college and you're cheering for your team and the other guys are just the evil empire out there. And then a few years later you get to know each other and you're like, well, that guy's really not such a bad guy.
Yeah, then he starts working for Iowa State.
Yep. Yep. But you get to know him personally. It's like a lot of these guys, oh, boo, he's a terrible guy. He's, our opponent. He's our bitter enemy. And then you sit down and visit with him a little bit and go, that guy's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah.
I can't feel the same way now.
I mean, you're just competing. I mean, what's he supposed to do?
All right, pulls in on a single leg, and Moreno counters pretty nicely. He's trying to cut the corner and work around behind. Now he locks him up in a cradle. Moreno does. We'll have to see if this is going to work.
He's going to have to pull a suicide cradle if he wants this to work. Yep. He needs to flip on his head.
He's going to have to. And Pulls looks like he's working around. Pulls pops his head out and gets a 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a big turning point right there.
I mean, if Moreno was going to have that cradle, he was going to have to be confident in hanging on to it, and he was going to have to throw it hard.
Yeah, you're right.
He just
waited too long. The reason why I said why not do a suicide right there is because it doesn't matter. You just flip over. Why not try it? You're down.
You're down. It's whether you're going to get 5th or you're going to get 6th. And you're down with 30 seconds left, just throw it. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're right. So
Pulls with the 5th place finish.
7-5.
Yep. And so Conrad Pulls finishes out his senior season, so good job out of him. Mike Moreno finishes 6th. He'll be back for another day. Moreno, one of the real up-and-comers in this weight class for the future.
So Kevin Jackson kind of giving him some words of encouragement there. So.
Yeah, always tough to lose your last match of the season, but I'll tell you what, he's got a lot to be proud about. He's done an outstanding job this year.
So we're kind of getting ready to go on 174. All right. So they get right after it.
Hey, they're not wasting time, are they?
Here,
they probably got a basketball game to show on ESPN or something. All right, so let's see here in the 3rd place match. We've got, for Minnesota, we've got
Storley. And Storley.
Yep, Logan Storley from Minnesota. Robert Kokish from Nebraska.
And then we've got Evans and Heflin going at it here in the 5th place. And then for 7th and 8th, we've got Blanton from Illinois and Walters from Ohio.
Walters spoils this Big Ten story right here because it's all Big Ten wrestlers with the exception of Walters.
I feel like when Maryland and Rutgers go in there, we just might have the NCAAs at the Big Ten.
Absolutely. It's pretty close now. Oh, my. Yeah, that's just it. They're really going to be stacked.
Yeah.
So
we're kind of underway here right now. Guys just getting started. I mean, they immediately got those guys out there. So.
Yep, somebody had lunch to get to, I think.
So
Blanton.
Now Evans here, Evans and Heflin going at it. And Heflin in on a shot attempt right on the side of the mat, and he's going to get 2. So he's the first one to score over there in 174 pounds in either one of these 3 matches. Well, all 3, I should say. So Evans is going to go down here. Heflin of Ohio State. Tom Ryan over in his corner. Got Kurt Backus, and I think that's Terry Brands over there. I can't see. His back's to me, but Terry's got the longer hair now. He's got kind of the mop top going on.
Yeah. So this is another weight class that's got a lot of underclassmen in it. So Perry, a junior, Brown, a sophomore in the finals tonight. Storley, a sophomore, Kokish, a sophomore for 3rd place. 5th place, Evans, a sophomore, Heflin, the lone senior. Take that back, one of the 2 seniors. Blanton, a senior in 7th, wrestling for 7th, and Walters, who rounds out the weight class from Ohio. He's a freshman, so a lot of young, a lot of underclassmen in this class as well. Oh, and Heflin locks up the cradle on Evans, and it's a tight cradle.
Wow, that's real. And he's doing a good job.
And there's a fall. Ooh. So Heflin, the senior, finishes his career in a big way for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Talking about seniors and going out on top.
I lied to you. Heflin's only a junior. I lied to you. I can't read my own writing. I wrote junior. Heflin a junior. So he's going to come back another year too. So Blanton's the only senior in this whole mess.
You can kind of tell Evans is a little banged up with that knee.
Yeah.
No excuses out here. He went out, but
yeah, just not been a good tournament for the Hawkeyes by and large.
Man, I mean, you don't see stuff like that. You don't see them getting pinned, and so.
Yep, getting pinned, and Telford goes out with a ding, and McDonough, doesn't make the medal round. And
I mean, you heard what Brands got asked, right, in the fan festival.
Yeah.
So, can't believe.
Yeah.
That was.
What are you going to be doing if you're?
Yeah.
I might be pushing the janitor.
Well, when they're like, so what are you going to do if you don't have a national champ out there this year? And Brands came back, kind of looked at him like, weird, like, well, I can't believe you asked me that question. But then he's like, well, you might as well put a little green shirt on and just kind of duct tape janitor to me, and I'll go start mopping the floors.
Well, it's not quite that bad, but I got to tell you, living here in the state of Iowa, I know a lot of Hawkeye fans, and it's a pretty rabid fan base, and they got after Jimmy Zaleski pretty hard after a few years when they hadn't won a title, and this will be, you're already starting to hear the rumblings. Oh, wait a minute now, it's we haven't won a title for 3 years, and we're going the wrong direction a little bit, and now Tommy Brands is a tremendous favorite there, so there's no jeopardy there, but and of course they were, he was going to be the second coming of Gable when he came back to the program, but so they're in a little bit of a quandary right now as a fan base and trying to understand where they want to be.
Well, trust me, Tom's not happy with what's going on.
No, I'm sure of that too.
I mean, it's not like Tom's saying, going to bed at night saying that he's excited about what he did and he's okay with this performance, but he'll be ready to go to work, and Iowa's going to be fine, but it is kind of surprising, especially after it doesn't seem like that long ago watching that Iowa-Penn State duel, and it looked like those were the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country.
Absolutely.
And Iowa beat them.
But,
so
I make the same comment I make all season on Takedown Radio. People get tired of hearing it. I'm sorry about that, but at the end of the day, it's all about matchups. Spin that last dial. Make sure that's
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And a duel is obviously much different than a tournament team.
Yep.
And it's different when the environment that you're in and that kind of stuff. But just by looking at them physically and what they have, and I like the matchups that Iowa had. I mean, you're right, but I mean, when you get guys like Telford, we didn't really talk about that much. But when you want Iowa, to do well in a team race, I mean, it's pretty important when you have a guy who's a 6th seed to be an All-American. But so we've got Kokish going at it here, and Storley. Kokish leads, I believe, 1-0. And now Storley ties it up with an escape here in the third period, so it's 1:30 to go. In that match. And a 3-2 lead there for Blanton of Illinois over Walters of Ohio. Ohio's got that kind of neat alternate singlet of their own. They got a bobcat out there on their butt, looks like, almost. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I had to look at that several times to figure out what that was.
Yeah.
Because I'm not used to seeing Ohio in that color. That's just not right.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Well, I think Notre Dame came out. You know, they had a great performance last night against the Cyclones.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame blinded themselves with those shoes they had.
I think they're getting a little too cocky with those neon green shoes.
I thought it was funny, too, you know, the announcers for that game. So in the first half, it's like, oh, geez, Notre Dame can't do anything right. Notre Dame, what's the problem here? Oh, Notre Dame's awful. You know, not a good word about the Cyclones. They only got about two-thirds of the way or a third of the way through the second half, and then all of a sudden he shifted gears and everything was about how great the Cyclones was, and maybe decided it wasn't all Notre Dame being bad. Maybe Iowa State had a decent basketball team.
Either that or it's kind of the producer saying, okay, we're getting some negative feedback. How about you start being positive?
Look, a pretzel. Scotty brought me a big pretzel, and I just drank all my pop. Now I'm going to find a water. There we go.
Oh, I see how it is, Scott. I got you. Oh, I see what's going on over here.
Oh, you like pretzels.
Oh, yeah, who doesn't like a pretzel?
I just took the last drink of my Coke, and now you brought me a pretzel.
Well,
good thing we got Steve Foster taking.
Right.
You want some of my pretzel?
I see what's going on, Scott.
You want some of my pretzel here? I got.
Now you're just getting.
We spent the whole Big Ten tournament talking about the fact I wanted a big pretzel. All right, so here's where we're at.
Yeah, I'll have a Coke. Yeah.
We're going to go to sudden victory down here on mat number 3 for the third place match between Storley and Kokish. The score is tied 1-1 at the end of regulation. So both wrestlers in the center of the mat in the sudden victory period. Let's get you up to speed on that 7th place match as well between Blanton and Walters. That's all tied up 3-3 with 50 seconds left in the third period. This Walters is a good young wrestler from Ohio, freshman. Really looked good in this tournament and got a bright future in front of him.
He does do a really good job there. Now, a really good scramble there by Kokish.
Yeah.
And he's going to get 2 with 16 seconds left in sudden death over there. And he's going to take third place for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
And Storley is not happy about the whole thing.
Well, he's one of the only Gophers to lose here in the consolations here today. So.
Yep, and Storley, I was just looking. Storley did beat Kokish 3-1 in sudden victory earlier this year. So
it's 3-3 here. We're trying to finish up at 174 between the Bobcat and the Illini.
Yep.
What is an Illini, by the way?
It's an Indian.
Yeah?
Yep. So, but there's a riding time advantage for the red wrestler, and so Jordan Blanton from Illinois takes 7th. So good job out of him. Blanton is the lone senior in that class. So.
Just a quiz there, Jeff. You know, I was just making sure you're on your feet.
Sorry. Your quizzes are easier than...
Well, I'm just trying to be nice, man.
You know,
give you a little mental break from Steve.
Yeah, thanks. Jay Carl came in and said, okay, here's the trivia question of the day. He said, when was the last time that the Iowa Hawkeyes were eliminated from the team title race on Friday night? Mm-hmm. And, the answer is, I can't tell you. I don't know.
No. Got Kyvan Gadsden over here warming up. It's a really cool warm-up that he has, kind of celebrating his father and the old school Iowa State warm-ups that they had. So now we're getting ready here at 184. So kind of set the table here for us, Jeff.
Yeah, so at 184 pounds in the, oh my goodness, that's cold. In the third place match, you've got Ben Bennett, the 2 seed from Central Michigan. He's going to face Steve Bozak, the number 4 seed, the returning national champion from Cornell. So Bennett and Bozak going for third. In the 5th place match, you've got Ethan Lofthouse from Iowa. Lofthouse, the junior from Iowa, had a real good tournament, versus Jimmy Sheptock from Maryland. And in the 7th place match, you got Larson. What's his first name? I'm having a tough time getting that one.
You mind doing that? Just from where you're at?
Mike Larson, let's get that one right. Versus Ryan Loader from UNI. From the University of Northern Iowa. So Loader with a really good tournament as well. We're going to get our picture taken here with a face made for radio.
And a 4th place finish. A 24-3 record for Steve Bosak.
So, one more.
We're being celebrities, everybody. It's celebrity time.
There we go, photo time. All right, now Caleb's going to send us that so we have so we can put that up on the website or something. That'd be good. Thank you.
Scare all the fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go to scary.com.
All right.
You'll find that picture.
So let's get people caught up in a hurry. So it's 0-0 in the 3rd place match. Lofthouse in with an early takedown in the 5th place match. He's up 2-0 at this point in the game. 0-0 down in our 7th place match as well. Hey, we look good. I'll tell you what, you do need to send that to us. We need to put that up on the KXNO website so people can actually see what we look like.
Yeah, we'll get one
less viewers.
We'll get one with Billy Baldwin today, and they'll think Jeff Murphy's the movie star.
Might scare them all away.
Hollywood's calling, Jeff.
Yeah,
Pick up the phone.
You could
Jeff
take that.
Does kind of look like a Baldwin now.
That's right.
You could take that picture and you could use it to kind of rid the house of pests or something. You just show that around.
Use that as extermination
rats
weapon.
and mice would run away.
Yeah, gotta get an EPA probably. Yeah, and the MSDS sheet would be real friendly too.
Yeah, exactly.
No LD50 table with that one. Well, no. Can you measure lethal dosage with eye contact visually?
Exactly.
Maybe.
One of those if looks could kill things.
Yep, that's right. Looks could kill. I won't have to buy my pesticides.
There we go. So on 184 here, guys, kind of getting back to the action.
Yep.
We've got Bennett here of Central Michigan, the Central
Bosak,
Michigan
is that right?
And Steve Bosak. Now, Steve,
year's champ.
What Bosak do last year, huh? Yeah, he was the champ last year. So
shows how tough that weight class is. Really, I think that's what that situation is.
You know what's crazy though is no one picked him to win the title this year. He's a returning national champ.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, you're right, Steve. I mean, what a tough weight class. So that's over there. That's the 3rd place matchup that we have, and then for 5th place we've got
Loader.
Nope. 5th place,
fifth, sorry.
Lofthouse
and Chip Talk, maybe. Is that right? Yep. Is that who that is? Mm-hmm. I'm without my paper, so I got to go by looks.
Chip Talk.
So Bennett and Bozak are both seniors out there in the 3rd place match.
Okay.
Lofthouse is a junior. Sheptalk's a junior. Larson from Missouri in the 7th place match is a senior, and Loader's a junior. So University of Northern Iowa is going to reload her next year in this class.
Yeah, they will, won't they? They're going to have to reload her.
Yep. And then, of course, two juniors in the championship match, Ed Ruth and Robert Hamlin from Lehigh.
Loader really trying to load it up and get some points down there.
Talk about that Lofthouse Ship Talk matchup. That'll be a future Big Ten matchup. So.
Yeah, well, in a couple of years, Maryland's going to jump in there. 2 years out, I think.
These guys are both going to be gone.
Well, not them individually, but
as far as the schools go, yeah.
Yeah. So
the Maryland Terps coming in, going to be part of the Big Ten Conference.
I don't know what the way consolidation.
What team isn't in the Big Ten anymore?
With the way consolidation's going, Big Ten might have everybody.
Yeah. Well, what Jeff and I were talking about earlier, Steve, was the way that the Big Ten's going, you might as well just hold nationals at the Big Tens. So.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Not doubt that there isn't other great wrestlers in the other conferences, obviously, from other schools, because there always is. But
in fact, there's a lot of them because the Big Ten has 12 wrestlers in the finals, but the rest of the country has 8.
8. Okay. Yeah.
But
they're almost even.
Penn State has 5 of those Big Ten.
Almost even.
So.
Well, for years, the Big 12 actually would fare better than the Big 10 until all the schools just kind of got dispersed out. So the Big 12 not only held their own, but I would say, I'm sure, actually, overall, as far as historical, Big 10 could not hold a flame to the Big 12.
The Big 12 is not doing too bad.
Cowboys, and
so the Big 12 has 12 schools, and they've got 12 guys in the finals, so 1 each. And the Big 12 has 4 schools and 3 guys in the final, so didn't quite hold up their end of the bargain this year, but not too far out.
Yeah, but as far as history goes, it's been the Big 12, really.
And you're right, you know, guys, with the teams that are still there, though, traditionally, you know, Missouri's just kind of come on here in the last years with Brian Smith. You know, traditionally, Missouri's not really
they weren't real predominant power. Yeah.
So, I mean, we still have Oklahoma State, Iowa State. So, I mean, West Virginia's, they've got potential. I'm not saying they have tradition.
That's really polite.
Yeah.
Lofthouse in here on Chip Talk trying to get another takedown. Lofthouse leads right now.
Brutal over there, man.
3-1.
Hey,
39 seconds to go in third period. Jeff Murphy?
They went to the Big 12 duels and they forfeited 5 weight classes. Come on, man.
Hey.
Yeah, that's tough. That doesn't seem right, does it?
Hey, Lofthouse up 5-1 now in the third period. 26 seconds left. And down on the other end, Loader's got his man on his back. But time runs out.
Loader's got them all loaded up down there.
And so Loader
Major,
up
6-0.
6-0, but it's just the third period.
So Loader doing a good job for the Panthers out of Cedar Falls.
Yep, now Loader up with a minute and, no, I'll take that back. Loader, actually, his opponent has a minute and 47 seconds. Larson has a riding time.
How crazy is that? Well, congratulations to Lofthouse. He defeated Chip Talk of Maryland, so Iowa Hawkeye being victorious.
So the Lofthouse came out on top of the Steinhaus. The Steinhaus did not wind up placing in the top 8, but the Lofthouse did, so.
Yeah, and he won that. Remember, not too long ago, we were talking the Battle of the Houses. Steinhaus and Lofthouse. And Steinhaus did an All-American, which surprised me, but Lofthouse did.
So Lofthouse is there, and Steinhaus is in the outhouse because he's out.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what and the doghouse.
I call it the doghouse.
Yeah, well, that could be too.
Golden Gopher House.
You know, they're getting ready right out here, okay, guys, at 197 here, so we're right underway.
No, we got, no, they're just dinky-donking around over there.
They're getting ready here.
Schiller and
ready, but they got a time. We got to wait for the 2 other matches to get done here, unless ESPN has decided we got to speed it up.
I think they might have, though, because they don't let these guys usually even put their stuff
No, I think they got their ankle bands on, and then they said, okay, go stand over on the edge and wait.
Bozak leads Bennett right now, 1-0. 47 seconds to go in the third period. 2 minutes riding time even there for Bozak, last year's NCAA champion for Coach Rob Cole and Damian Hahn.
He wants to go out on a high note as a senior.
It's been real solid, won a lot of matches, scored a lot of points in duels and tournaments over the years for Coach Rob Cole.
Yep. And Loader up 8-0 now over Larson. So Loader with 36 seconds left in that in the 7th place match. Bennett in on the shot.
Bennett.
Look up there on the big board.
Bennett's tough. You know, he's got good range. He's real strong, and he's got great range. Long arms, long legs, and a lot of strength involved. And so, what do you think of the pretzel there?
Hey, these pretzels are good.
They asked me, does he want cheese or salt? And I said, just put salt on it.
Oh, that's good. Highly recommend the pretzels for anyone.
Did you want cheese or not?
I'd been good too, though.
Okay, well, I know for next time.
I was going to say, man, throw some cheese in with that whiner.
There you go, you guys.
So.
I didn't have my Snickers.
For Cornell.
So
big win there for
Bozak, the first 4-time All-American at Cornell University. Very good. Finishes his college career. Waves to his fans.
Pretty cool there, guys. I mean, another senior here that we kind of wanted to highlight.
Big win. Had a tough opponent. This Bennett's coming in front of us. He's won a lot of matches for the Chippewas as well. Came into the tournament undefeated, if I'm right.
Not quite the finish he'd hoped for. Not quite the finish.
And 1 loss on there.
All right, so we got everything done. By the way, Ryan Loader won his match. So he finishes 7th. So he's a nucleus to build on for next year at Northern Iowa. So good job out of him. I keep filling these out. I don't know why. I'm going to get a clean one.
Gadsden and Schiller, you say, right in front of us?
Yep, Schiller and Gadsden going for 5th, right in front of us.
We watched Schiller have a good match with Quentin Wright last time at the Big Ten Championships. I thought Wright would kind of come out and light it up, but won a 1-point match against Wright. Schiller did.
Yeah, we got Wilps from Pittsburgh and Meeks from Oregon State.
Oh, that's going to be fun. These two guys have won a lot of matches. This Welps, though, when he gets in fast, it gets these takedowns. What a match he had with Quentin Wright yesterday.
Yep. So they're going for third, and we have Blake Rochelt and Alfonso Hernandez going for 7th place.
Gatson here in on a shot attempt, and now a really good counter there by Schiller. So a good scramble here at the 5th place, and Schiller's going to get the 2 on Gatson.
Down on mat 7, you got the battle of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Wyoming Cowboys and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. So, which Cowboy is going to be on top winning the wrestling match when it's all over? That's yet to be decided. Alfonso Hernandez, real good wrestler. I picked him. I thought he might make it to the finals, although he was on that same side, I think, as Kilgore.
Jeff, you're kind of a proponent of having Wyoming in the Big 12, no?
Absolutely. I think that'd be a great move.
Because I love to drive to Laramie to the Medicine Bow Mountains, so it'd give me an extra excuse to go out for a little 3-day weekend.
If the 12 is going to survive as a wrestling conference, they're going to have to add schools. And I was a big proponent a year ago of adding Northern Iowa, Wyoming, and Missouri. And I realize Missouri's a political thing, so that's a little tough with all the Big 12 athletic directors with Missouri leaving and what have you. But it would have made great sense from a wrestling side of things. And, they could have had a really good, maybe add one more school back into it. But they certainly have to add at least 2 schools back now, because you're going to have to get at least 6 schools in that Big 12 to make it a viable conference tournament.
Or how about you start making Kansas and Kansas State, and
yeah, that'd be cool. Start from scratch. That'd be good. The Dakotas too can bring them in. Of course, pretty soon you're taking from the WAC, and that's going to make it tough on other ones. So yeah, it'd be nice to just start brand new ones, Caleb. That would be the ideal thing.
How about Texas?
All the money in Texas. They just added a second class in high school. It's gotten so popular. J. Carl Guyman was down there doing TV. He was doing the television for the state championships, and he said, Steve, I got good news for you. When we were talking, planning this trip up here, he said they've added another class in wrestling down there in Texas at the high school level. It's so popular in that state.
Now, I want to tell you, fellas, this 5th place match is really important, and the reason this is really important is that the winner of this 5th place match is probably going to start number 2 in the country next year, because Kilgore and Wright are seniors, Wilps is a senior, Meeks is a sophomore, so he's got a little bit of time left.
Right.
Gatson and Schiller are sophomores.
I think Hernandez, Alfonso's a senior.
He's a senior, and Rochelt's a junior. So
boy, it empties out.
The cool thing about 197 is you don't see a lot of guys move up to heavyweight, because it's about a 100-pound difference. So, if you're at 197, you're probably going to stay there.
Somebody told me Gatson was walking around this summer 218, 220. So he's cutting some, but he would be a small.
Oh, he'd be small. I don't think he would fit in too well in that weight class.
He carries a lot of weight in his hips and his legs. He's just real strong, got a lot of power.
Wilps has got Meeks tilted. Wilps out to a 10-1 lead now. A 10-1 lead at the end of the first period. So
Wilps is a bear.
Yeah, Wilps, the senior, going to try to go out the high note again.
Gatson tied it up here with an escape. So now it's 2-2 with 1:25 to go in the second period.
Some riding time for Schiller, is that right? Minute 34.
Minute 34, yep.
Some riding time for the Golden Gopher.
Got
Minnesota.
Hernandez and Rochelt going at it. Looks like it's 2-1. Hernandez, actually.
Alfonso. So the battle of the Cowboys down there, the Wyoming Cowboy is leading the Oklahoma State Cowboy. So
just waiting to get some riding time so I could comment on that.
Who gets to wear the cowboy hat when they're done?
Yeah.
Here we go. Gatson and Schiller kind of locking it up 48 seconds ago in the second period. Takedown at the end of this period, Coach, would be big, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be really big. So
and Schiller grabs the leg of Gatson just as soon as we say that. Makes it tough, giving up those takedowns at the edge of the mat or the end of the period.
Pretty close for a tech
Look at Welps. Wow, he is just... And this Meeks has been tough. He's had a great tournament, and he's got a lot of fans down there. The other fans wearing orange is Oregon State fans, the Beavers. They've traveled across the nation.
Oh, wow, Welps is really bringing it today.
If Welps makes this takedown, it'll be tech fall. It'll be all she wrote.
Man, and Meeks is good, guys. Taylor Meeks
if he can bring him down to the mat, it's going to be over.
Granby. Boy, smart Granby there by Meeks. That saved him momentarily anyway.
Not anymore. Wow, got the 2.
Wow, is that huge? Welps, tough kid, huh? Good job by Welps.
17 or 18 to 2 actually with riding time. So, man, dominating there.
Tough finish there for the young man from Pitt. Wrestling good, huh? Gatson kind of trying to get
standing cradle almost.
For Schiller, trying to probably get rid of a little bit of riding time maybe, but escape for Schiller, and they go out of bounds. 5-2 now. Schiller's up by 3.
Gatson couldn't even get out after he got taken down with 30 seconds to go in that second period. So, like you're talking about, Steve, I mean, scoring towards the end of a period, you can't get those points back. So
here comes Welps walking down in front of us, real strong, just, man.
Locomotive, man.
He looks like a locomotive, don't he? He could either stop one or probably pull one, I think.
Yeah. Or you could just ride him.
Good tournament for Pitt. Welps does a good job for them, picking up some more points.
Got a motor on him.
Panthers. Yeah, because this Meeks, I've been following him through the year for Oregon State, and he's been tough. And to Tech fall him, you're doing something right. Gatson right now, collar tie. Yeah. Schiller leads for Minnesota, 5-2, 1:06 to go.
Total different kind of match over there with Rochold.
Yeah, the battle of the Cowboys down there.
Yeah, high-powered Rochold over there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Thank you. He always knows where the edge is, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Guys. But Alfonso Hernandez with the lead there. So, who gets to wear the cowboy hat when they're done? It's the Wyoming Cowboys against
Schiller
Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Another takedown attempt here on Gatson. So
Schiller didn't get it right, though. Right, they went out of bounds.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, Gatson needs to be doing the shooting here.
Gatson needs to get in gear this morning.
It's a reach attempt there for Kyvan. 5-2, minute and 58 seconds of riding time in favor of Schiller as well. So Minnesota, I haven't kept track, but I know they've won a lot more matches than they've lost it this morning. They really have. So going out of bounds. Schiller and Gatson, 25 seconds ago. 1:58 of riding time in favor of Schiller.
Hernandez
what year is he?
Schiller's a sophomore, I believe.
Just sophomore. Wow.
You're right. These two are going to be right back in it.
Yep.
So
yeah, they will.
Schiller, Meeks, and Gatson going to have a lot of good matches left in them.
Yeah, they will. All young men. And Gatson actually, it says a sophomore, but he probably will get a medical red shirt, I'm going to think, at the end of his season, maybe, and get one more.
Scheidel from Binghamton, he started as 7th seed. He's a junior.
Fifth place finisher from
Minnesota,
Scott Schiller wins there for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Coach Jay Robinson and Brandon Eggum in the corner there. So a big win for Minnesota. Some more points. Goes Mr. Gatson. Wrestling under some tough circumstances as far as his personal life goes with his.
Yeah, but you know, Iowa State came in really well and going to finish well, but not having the final day they would have.
Yeah, it's been a tough day for him, no question. Got 3 All-Americans and.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right? Yeah. And then Matt Gibson coming.
I haven't won a match yet today. So
no,
I'm a little surprised that the ESPN cameras aren't following him out. Gadsden, you know.
Yep.
I mean, they've been zooming in on that rope.
All right, we better get in gear here. We're ready to start. In fact, we got them started already. There's no dinking around down there.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's still a 97-pound match. That's good. I thought we were starting on heavyweight. I thought that was Galagayev down there.
He's about the same height. Not as thick.
Premature.
Never.
That's Rochold and Hernandez. I should have known. Rochold was backing off the mat.
He knows where the edge is. He's not winning, though. I believe Hernandez is leading. Is that right, Alfonso?
6-4 with 15 seconds left in the match.
Alfonso Hernandez for the Wyoming Cowboys, coached by, you ready for this, Mark Branch, Chris Pendleton. Two-time champion, I believe. Pendleton won a couple titles back in the day, and one of the few people that can say They only had one loss against Ben Askren.
Yep.
And it was at Hilton Coliseum in the Big 12.
Yep.
You remember that?
I certainly do.
Askren.
So, Alfonso Hernandez with a 7-4 win at 197 pounds in the 7th place match. Finishes his career in a good way.
So in the Battle of the Cowboys, Wyoming comes out on top.
That's right.
In that particular match anyway. As far as the team race, the Oklahoma State Cowboys doing very well, guys. So Daringer picked up some bonus points earlier.
So let's set up the heavyweight matchups.
Trice.
So we're going to have Alan Gelagayev from
Oklahoma State.
Brain cramp, versus Dom Bradley from Missouri. So that was a matchup everybody thought we'd see in the finals, but not to happen. Going to happen in the 3rd place match. Be exciting nonetheless.
Tigers and the Cowboys.
Yep, going to see Thomasette from Pittsburgh. Thomasette's going to wrestle against Jared Trice from CMU. And in the 3rd place match, we're going to see Delaney from Citadel versus Gibson from Iowa State.
Gibson and Delaney. Delaney had a big fall yesterday against Chad Hankey against Oregon State there. And so Delaney, I believe he had 2 pins in a row yesterday. So one against Chad Hankey, which I really thought would All-American this year. He had been wrestling behind Clayton, so we call him Lumberjack. Clayton Jack graduated. Hankey came in, had a good senior year, but not going to All-American. And
yeah, we're going to give you a team score update as soon as we can.
All right. So one of the things that's interesting about this weight class, you've got McMullen, who's a sophomore from Northwestern, versus Nelson, who's a junior from Minnesota. And then you got you got Delaney out here in the 7th place match. It's a sophomore, and everybody else is a senior. Gelagayev, Bradley, Thomasette, Trice, and Gibson, all seniors. So
empties out.
All but one of these men will be wrestling their last match right here. I have to say
that. Did you say he's a senior as well?
Yep. I'd have to say that I've, in the last few years, I've really enjoyed watching Trice wrestle. I've really enjoyed watching Gelagayev wrestle because you never know what you're going to get from those two guys. And having watched Iowa State quite extensively, Matt Gibson's been a real fun guy to watch as well because he's got that. He's one of the best big men I've ever seen putting the legs in and down mat wrestling.
At 6'5" is Matt Gibson.
Yeah,
he's a tall guy. He's got a lot of range.
So all 3 of those guys have, kind of done things a little differently than most of the heavyweights who tend to lean on you a little bit. Colorful and interesting to watch.
And Matt Gibson doesn't have a typical heavyweight build, obviously, at 6'5". A lot of people see him on the street. He told me he does get that question a lot. You a basketball player?
Nope.
They think he's going to be a basketball player, but I'm glad he's a wrestler. Very thankful. So Trice doing kind of the tomahawk chop.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Gelagayev to get over there and to really throw Bradley like he likes to do.
Bradley's so thick and so strong.
Gibson on his back.
Delaney's
way to finish.
2 pins yesterday. Delaney.
I believe he's going to get another one right here because he's got Gibson. Well, Gibson's going to scoot out of back. Oh no, does not get there. And Delaney with another pin.
It's 3 of them. He pinned Hankey too. That was the big one yesterday. Watching him pin Hankey. So
all right. So Iowa State, after having an outstanding round last night,
tough day today.
Has a really tough round, goes 0 for the morning. So happy about where they finished, not so happy about where they finished.
Yeah,
score no more team points today and probably knocks them back out of the top 10, I'm going to guess.
Trice is picking up Thomasette. Nice set out switch there by Thomasette. Just taking that momentum when you go down to the mat is real smart by him. He gets the escape. 1 minute and 43 seconds to go in the second period here. In on a shot out of bounds is Thomasette.
Yeah. I mean, you got to almost be like a ball, just bouncing right back up when you get taken down like that. So Thomasette did a really good job there.
Yeah, bounce up, get an escape, inside stand up or Granby rolls. See the Granby roll occasionally. Saw that from the Penn State heavyweight in the Big Tens a lot. He liked that Granby a lot.
Oh, he was good at it,
Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but more times than not, he did a good job.
Jimmy Lawson from
Jimmy
Penn
Lawson,
State.
he was Granby in that whole tournament, getting some success from it.
Oh, Trice going to get a big throw. Boy, you know, needs to go out in a big way here.
He's setting up, the doughboy.
Yep, and, you know, I was talking in between rounds, and I think there might be some truth to that Dancing with the Stars. You know, he might get an invitation here this next year.
Pillsbury doughboy.
Going to be the #1 advocate of that.
Yeah.
So all you listeners out there, let's start a letter writing campaign.
Yeah,
Send your emails to Dancing with the Stars. Tell them you want to see Jared Trice on next year's show.
Doughboy on the Dances with Stars. What do you think, Scotty? Shaking. He's 2 thumbs up.
That's right.
That means it's going to happen.
Get an email campaign going.
He's got that spray tan glowing over there.
All you guys sitting at home at your computer listening to us that are just sitting there, now get right on to the Matt.com message boards and start that thread immediately. Let's get all the wrestling behind getting Jared Trice on Dancing with the Stars next week.
Right now he's dancing with Thomasette, and he had his arms all tied up trying to throw him to his back.
But, you know, in good old Jared Trice
fashion,
he's probably not going to really get going until there's about 30 seconds left to go in the match.
That's exactly right. Oh, but he throws him. Oh, that's
big move by Thomasette.
Oh, I'm telling you. Well, Trice did the move. Trice grabbed him and tried to pancake him and
slip.
Yep, didn't quite get it done, and Thomasette came down on top.
Yeah, good for Trice. Just as I said that, he actually tried something in the second period.
Yeah, that was amazing, huh?
Yeah.
At the end of the period, the edge of the mat.
I'll tell you what, that'd have been a big move if he'd have got it done. It'd have looked sweet.
1-0 between Bradley and Galagayev, with Bradley leading.
Trice flamboyant fashion.
He's been an entertainer.
He has. We're going to miss him.
He likes to interact with the fans every once in a while, too. We've seen him do some waving. And
we're going to miss him.
Up on his feet is Galagayev trying to tie this up. Bradley got the escape, so Tom Bradley's.
I'm really surprised that, you know, Bradley wrestles from Missouri, because the way he uses the edge of the mat, I'd swear he was an Oklahoma State Cowboy.
Yeah, he's wrestling another Cowboy.
So Galagayev did get the escape, so now he's up 1-0.
Yep. Please
say they're neutral. Yeah, so they're staying at 1-0.
Please send all of your emails of complaints and anyone we've offended out there this morning with any remarks to Scott Casper, care of Takedown Radio.
ScottCasper.com.
No, we're sorry if we've tried to offend anybody. We just try to be. We just try to be
1-1.
Have some fun out here.
I thought that was 1-1 because he escaped, but
I think
apparently they were neutral there. So,
thought Galagayev started down. Should be 1-1, but Bradley's up 1-0.
No, I think Bradley actually started down and got the escape, and then they were both on their feet. And
yeah, that would make sense actually, because it's second period. I think if that scoreboard was wrong, the Oklahoma State coaches would be doing backflips.
Yeah, somebody'd be jumping around.
Yeah, so Trice here, and this is his fashion here.
Yeah, 30 seconds left. It's time to start.
Yeah, 25 seconds left, and really his career. So he's going to hand fight and get a little bit harder. Now he's got an underhook.
He's going to go in for the big throw. You know, he's going to finish in a big way.
He's going to have to try.
And it's either going to work or it's not. But
Thomasette needs to sink his hips right there.
He's trying to.
Trice is trying to come over. Here it comes. He's loading him up.
He's trying to Thomasette it up.
Not going to get it done. Oh, that's too bad. That would have been a fun way to finish.
Look at him go. He's trying. Boy. That's it. 3-1, Scott Casper. He couldn't quite Thomasette him up.
Yeah, Thomasette with the win over Trice. And a very colorful career comes to a close.
With the Chippewas and Coach Tom Borelli. Thomasette wins. Good job there for Mr. Thomasette.
All right. Very good, very good. So we're down to 1 in this consolation medal round.
For the coaches there.
We've got Alan Galagayev and
Coach Stottlemyer's
Bradley.
You notice Coach Stottlemyer's had a lot of pit wrestlers out here in these rounds.
Pitt's done a good job.
They've done a good job. They've had a lot of place winners.
We talked about that, though. I mean, they're in Pennsylvania, obviously.
Here. Yeah. Galagayev in on a takedown. No, he called him off the mat.
Whoa.
Dom bounced back up, and ref didn't call it. But
no.
They might review that.
Boy, John Smith.
John's
if they got any reviews left. I could picture Smith using all the reviews first day, maybe.
I'd like an update on that, to be honest with you. What coaches that are left in the finals have reviews
that on the big board or something.
Reviews they have
kind of like how they do that in football. You know, you've got the. I thought one of these coaches was going to pull a Belichick and take a green flag out of his sock and throw it out there. You know.
Galagayev with the takedown.
Did the old Steve Mockel foot sweep.
Did the takedown.
Foot sweeped him.
Man, is he quick.
30 seconds left. Galagayev with a 3-1 lead now.
It's probably going to cut
Bradley.
Dom Bradley.
I think
so.
Blocking of hands.
3-2 now.
Now it's 3-2, and if Bradley gets to escape, then he's going to tie it up. So now this might be something they want to review, just to make sure that
this will be interesting. No, the referee waves it off. He says no. He says Bradley is still down.
Brian Smith upset now in the corner. He wants to talk about it, Brian Smith. He's convinced there was a locking of hands by Galagayev.
To be honest with you, it did look like he had his hands locked because Bradley went down, touched his knees, and then went right back up. If his knees touched, you locked your hands, pal.
Momentarily,
that's all right.
Like the redheads.
Hey. I don't know what you're talking about, Steve.
I tell you what. Galagayev, I think he did have the hands locked, maybe.
I think he did, too.
I don't know if Smith has any more reviews left, though.
No, I don't know. He decided not to use it if he does.
What Smith are you talking about? We should be talking about Brian.
Yeah, that's right, Brian Smith.
Oh, nice Granby roll.
Battle of the Smiths.
Wow, nice Granby roll by Dom Bradley. It's 3-2 now. Bradley backs him out and shoves him off.
I can't believe that wasn't reviewed. He must not have had any left.
No, he must have spent them all.
12 seconds left here.
They don't have any finalists.
Bradley's going to go hard for 12 seconds. He's chasing Galagayev all over the mat, trying to get him in to throw him and crunch him, but he's not going to get her done.
2, 1.
And that's all she wrote.
That's it.
So Galagayev with a big win.
Wow,
and to both young men's credit, Dom Bradley gives them a big hug. And both of them really gentlemen at the end, and great way to finish their careers, both of those gentlemen.
Had a real good career. Dom did from start to finish. Galagayev came in, started as a 197-pounder back in the day. Galagayev
he got hurt, so I mean, we didn't get to see him there for a tournament. So but good for him to go out on top. So before we take off, let's kind of make sure that we get a team score and.
Yeah, here's the team standings coming around the circle. So, and I don't know.
Write them down.
I don't know if that'll include the Galagayev match. That's the question.
Yeah, that'd have to be fast.
Team standing. Well, we'll see what. Here comes
number one. Whoa, look at this, guys. Look who's in number one.
Hang on, they're counting them down, and she's got the score.
In 6th, Missouri.
6th, Missouri.
In 5th place for now with 61 points. Iowa in 4th, 69. Minnesota in 3rd, 99. Oklahoma State in 2nd with 111.5.
111.5.
State in 1st with 114.
Wow, so that makes it a lot closer. So at this point in the game, Penn State in first with 114.5 and Oklahoma State with 111.5. So 3 points separate first and second. Of course, Oklahoma State with 2 finalists and Penn State with 5. So
5 of them.
So can we get a repeat of the year? What was that, 1990, when Iowa State had so many guys in the finals and just crashed and burned, and Iowa wound up winning the tournament?
Sanderson, Hiskett, Thompson, Zach Thompson, and Cale Sanderson. I think Cale won, didn't he? Holker was in that one too, was he?
Yeah. So we'll have to see.
We're back on at 6 o'clock here.
6 o'clock. So we want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen this morning. We hope you had a good time. We look forward to hearing you or talking to you all again this evening on themat.com. And so for Caleb Nemmers, Steve Foster, Scott Casper, Chad Kriz, who's only with us for a little bit longer, and me,
California
Jeff Murphy.
bound.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you tonight.
All right.